Hey, what's up guys? My name is Faraz, and this is an all masks tutorial. Just before I start, I wanted to show our practice resources a little bit, just for people who aren't familiar with the community or haven't really looked into it, don't know how many functions we have. There are two different practice ROMs, one called ZC and one called KZ. I'm going to show ZC first. Which is the one that you want to practice on 99% of the time. You can get anything you want, man. Whatever item, mask, song, whatever. You can get more hearts, get magic, say your magic meter. This has like soft save states, which are not really save states per se, but you can return to any position you had with camera angle like that whenever you want. By changing your rupee counter and holding start across the loading zone, you can get to several rooms in the map, like all the useful ones pretty much, or all the ones that we visit very often. You can get to, you can obviously teleport, super speed, all that fun stuff. What else am I missing? I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, controlling time, you can change it to whatever day you want. You can advance time, rewind time, you can make it so it's inverted. You can do whatever. Needless to say, this kind of resource makes it really easy for us to practice, and I also think it just makes it really approachable for beginners, you know, when they're still learning glitches. It's invaluable for saving time and for, you know, nailing down muscle memory. So like I mentioned earlier, there's two different ones. You're gonna want to get ZC, and the reason for that, it's not because KZ is bad. KZ has excellent functionality, and I'm gonna show it off a little bit. It's just that KZ can introduce lag into the game depending on what you're doing with it, and it also has pause buffering that is not quite as consistent. It's not quite the same as it is in the real game. ZC is the real deal. You're never gonna have to worry about any differences with ZC. Now KZ has some excellent added functionality that I want to show as well. In this little menu, as you can see, you can look at memory in real time if you're curious. Just go through the whole thing. You can set watches for yourself, of course. So, and this is particularly important if you're doing SRM stuff. You can see your collision angle, for example, right? That'd be the main application if you're practicing for this run in particular. Now, KZ also boasts some frame advance technology, if you want to call it that. You can pass the game one frame at a time without having the pause buffer, which can be really useful if you're just confused about, you know, what frames work for certain tricks, or you just want to check it out more closely, or you want to find new tricks, right? KZ is great for science, for sure. Now, if you're still watching this video after the first 2 minutes, I assume they pique your interest, or you're just really set on learning this route. Well, let me tell you, this is the best all masks route there's ever been, and that is not an exaggeration in my opinion, because SRM, first of all, has allowed for things that we could have never ever done before, and I tend to think that this route in particular is just very clever. It's beginner friendly for starters. So as far as SRM categories go, it's where you want to start, and it's just like I said, it flows well. All the uses of like Sunsong and other types of items are really smart, and everything just ties together really nicely. So if you have a lot of time on your hands, this is going to be a treat. You're going to love learning this category. And I also want to shout out the fact that I have a basics tutorial that's out there. I pretty much all the stuff you've heard of, ISG, mega flips, recoil flips, all that type of stuff, weird shots, that's all in there. And I'm going to assume that you know that stuff during this tutorial. So if you haven't touched them M yet, you haven't gotten your feet wet, go do it before you come back to this. Final thing, I do want to let you guys know that we have a Discord. I like the Discord a lot. It's well separated out, it's well moderated, and I find that in particular people in there do a good job of answering questions. And that goes for both like noobs and seasoned runners, you know, like I've gotten stuff answered in there that really helped me in my runs and helped me learn new stuff. Uh, just to give you context, I only learned SRM this year. I've been away from the community for a little bit, and it's been really useful to me. So definitely go check that out. I'm human. I'm sure there's stuff in this that I have not included, or I didn't fully explain, or I explained it wrong, or I'm sure I screwed up somehow. So if you're confused, please go ask in there. Again, we have a large community, and I find that people tend to participate a lot, so you'll definitely get your answer. And so without further ado, let's get this started. So you're going to make your file. Doesn't really matter what it is. It can be as long as you want, really. You're not going to lose any time. And then, yeah, timer starts when you select it. And right here in the beginning, you're just going to mash a little bit of text. So right after you fall off the horse here, you're gonna do a little bit of movement. I start holding like a little bit further right from up preemptively. And then I do this roll. A lot of people do a quick turn here and a back walk. Nice bush grab there. But, so yeah, you can do a quick turn and a back walk like that, but the angle is a little bit hard to get, and it also only saves like a second or two tops. So I just do the rolls. And you get all the way to this log, and then here you're not gonna roll off because it can give you like the wrong distance. So you're just gonna do regular jump, and then roll on the next ones. The next ones are safe to roll through. There's also a little bit of a jump you can do here with this thing. Alright, so after you get past the logs, either way, you're just going to go in here, and there's going to be a little bit more text mashing. So after this little bit of text here, you're going to spin 3 times forward, like this, and then just open the door. And then here I do the first spin forward, and then I start aiming right a little bit. That was a little bit too much, but I think you kind of get the point. I'm going to mash a little bit more text. Now here, there's a strat for this flower right here. All you're really going to do is hold up right, and then spin as soon as you can right here. And if you fall off the ledge correctly, you're going to fall right into this flower, and I can show you footage of that. So again, this is one of those things that saves like 1 or 2 seconds, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it and once you know kind of what it looks like. But you can also use the flower that I just used there if you want. All the basics about Deku flowers and Deku movement is on the basics tutorial, by the way. So anyways, gonna make it into this door. You're gonna hold left here and spin as soon as you can, and it'll basically get you to the flower right where you want it to be. And then here you can do another one of those 1 to 2 second time saves. It's called Tattletex Skip. Basically the way you go about this is you try to land between these 2 dots or closer to the second dot. If you look on the floor right now, this is the first dot, this is the second one, right? You just go all the distance, you don't press A, and then you're gonna tap left, and you're gonna walk like 1 or 2 steps either right or down right, depending on the angle you get. Angle tends to vary a little bit, but anyways, your objective is to side hop in, and then you're gonna keep holding A after you side hop. Again, this is like 2 seconds, so if you don't care about being super optimized, you can skip this. So anyways, after you get into this last flower, you can just drop off early here. It's faster to walk the rest of the way rather than fly, and then just avoid pressing A when it says check right there, because Link would like check this guy, and you don't want that text box. You just go through and then do 1 spin after, and then you're gonna come up on HMS skip here, which is one of the harder cutscene skips of the run. It's basically the gatekeeper of MM runs, if you don't know it. So just a little bit of basic movement beforehand. You're going to start holding down right here, and then once the game lets you move, you start spinning, switch to up right pretty much immediately, and then go up this ramp. We used to do some movement with side hops and back walking there to get like a initial angle, but nowadays we do a different method. We come to this pole right here, and we get a lineup. I'm going to talk about the actual trick a little bit more later, but I'm just kind of describing the basics. You're going to get a lineup, you're going to back walk all the way up, so like as soon as you start seeing the steps, because these two first steps, the cutscene won't trigger, but it will trigger right on the third one, like this. So as soon as you touch the third one, anyways, you're going to back walk up the first two steps ideally, and then you're going to pause, and you're going to start pause buffering 1 frame at a time, because cutscenes in this game take 2 frames to trigger. So you're going to pause buffer all the way into the door and reach the loading zone before the cutscene triggers at all. So obviously, if you're pause buffering too quickly and you're not advancing any frames at all, that's not going to be helpful. But you also can't ever go 2 frames, because if you do, the cutscene is going to trigger no matter what. So it's quite a fine, it's a fine line to balance, going only 1 frame at a time. And the most important thing is to obviously practice it a lot, but know your rhythm and stick to it. So I'm going to play you a couple of attempts here where I show you how I line it up and how I do the trick, and I want you to pay attention to 2 things in particular. The rhythm that I'm building my buffers, so like, you know, like it's almost like a beat, right? And you can't really deviate from the beat, because otherwise you can end up either overcorrecting and then pausing too late, or you just start like going too fast, right? You get too excited and you start pausing too early, and then you start having issues with that. The second thing is the frame that you need to release target on, because you're holding down the entire time, but you need to release target as soon as you see Link's feet on the final step. And I'll obviously point out which frame that is, but just keep that in mind, because it's both the lineup and releasing target on that particular frame are really important to make the trick faster. It basically cuts down 2 or 3 pause buffers from the trick. Just a couple final notes on HMS here, again with the whole building a rhythm thing. Just a couple techniques people use. I know of people who count numbers in their head, like they go like 1, 2, 3 in a rhythm, and that counting their pause buffers helps them keep their pauses consistent. And then I also know of people, including myself, who bob their head either slightly or a lot. It doesn't really matter how you do it. You could tap your feet, you could do whatever, you know. There's I cannot stress that building a rhythm is important, having a sense of rhythm is important, and not overcorrecting, because usually when you get like 1 or 2 pauses that you're not advancing any frames, if you keep that same rhythm, if you've practiced the trick enough, it'll come. You try to correct it, you try to slow down deliberately, you'll probably have to watch the cutscene or reset. So congratulations, you got past HMS. The very first thing you're gonna do here, look for your HUD to show up and reset. This reset is marginally faster on English. It is not faster on Japanese. So if you used to run on Japanese, that's why we didn't used to do it. But the game auto saves right there, so you can literally just reset, skip the cutscene. And now we're in Clocktown. So right here, you're just gonna start holding up left, and you're gonna move. The very first thing we gotta do is we gotta talk to Grandma. Grandma makes time pass in this game, and obviously we don't have the ocarina yet, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get all the way to night 3 with the Scarecrow as well, and then we gotta get magic and 50 rupees, which I'll show you how to do. It's actually really easy in this category. So you get into that flower, do that little movement there, 3 spins here, open a door. Here, the fastest way is actually the side hop down this staircase like that. And I just spin 3 spins again, and then here I hold straight right, and then I target Grandma and talk to her like that. So you're gonna press B to skip her text, and then one more quick B press, right? Because there's that weird text box, and then you're gonna tap down twice, select bottom one, and then you can mash A, B, you can mash whatever you want. Should be mashing A, B here. So target her again, talk to her again, and that's how you do it quickly. So now it's 3rd day. We'll make our way to the Scarecrow. Most people turn around here and backflip over the counter. You pretty much have to do that movement like that. And the camera can get a little wonky going to the door. There I just hold left, and here I hold down left. It's important you hold down left pretty much until the camera turns, just so you can dodge the dog. There's different ways to dodge the dog, but that's pretty much what I do. And then here, the Scarecrow is in the 2nd door, which is the trading shop. Be careful not to talk to that kid. Sometimes he's close to you, so I just wait. I just walk away from him, and then I do 2 spins. And then here, hold left. His radius is really... So, like, literally just hold left and press A. Then mash. Select yes. Obviously. And the next, he's also, because this is English, he's going to ask you if you want to learn, like, Song of Double Time and stuff. But you can just mash through that. Link will just say no. So here we are. And then hold down left, next to the shop. Here I hold down right, spin. Don't talk to the kid again. And we're just gonna go collect the fairy, which we need for magic. Just over here. No dog at night. Up on this flower. I aim around for the fairy. There are people that position their camera differently there, or that people do some different stuff there as well. If you want to look at what runners do, and then get this rupee here. I'm not rushing this at all, by the way, because you don't need to rush. The only trick you got to learn, you can get any angle kind of like this or like this. It's just any kind of straightish angle. Literally backwalk into this, and you're through. So anyways, the route we do for 50 rupees is pretty easy. You don't actually need to go all the way around, because 50 rupees is pretty easy to get. Like, if you're not getting 50 rupees from all these bushes, you also always have Keaton Bushes to fish on, and you have plenty of time to do it. Like, it should not be a concern at all. This one is kind of like an optional one. I usually come get it, but like, you could get enough rupees without it, for sure. And then you go back here. You should mash spin a little bit faster, or you can time your spins. It depends on what kind of runner you are. I've never bothered to optimize this kind of Deku movement because I'm a shitty runner. Anyways, also most people backwalk through here, which I freaking forgot about. This is an amazing display of. But I mean, honestly, with this first cycle, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, you have plenty of time, no matter what. So, you get that one, and you get this last one, and you enter through North Clocktown. And that's 50 already. But I'm just gonna show you Keaton Bushes real quick. I do the side hops there to get up the ledge, by the way. Pretty sure that's faster. Each bush is predictably 1 rupee, and you can get like 8 or 9 reliably from it. If you do the pattern right, so that's like 15 rupees at least, guaranteed, right? But anyways, get in here. Talk to the fairy, just gonna mash text. And then as soon as you're out of this cutscene, target backwalk out of here. And I may still make this on time, even though that was ridiculously slow. I just hold up right there, go for this entrance, and then here, same thing, tap up, backwalk. And here, hold down left. Just kind of go like that. This door is very easy to not open. Should be careful with that door. And here, talk to him late. So see how there's like 2 speak text boxes there? You want to talk to him late. Dodge the banker, dodge the kid. And then get up here, you're gonna use either a gainer or inverted backflip. In fact, I'm just gonna barely not make this. But that's on my basics tutorial. So here you're gonna mash text a little bit more. So here I immediately start holding up, and then as soon as it breaks, hold target, hold B, and then spin forward. Kind of like that. So I usually do a little bit faster than that, to be honest, but it takes you a little while to get to the ocarina anyways. And then if you're close enough like that, you can auto pick it up. That was actually a perfect placement, but usually you have to walk towards it a little bit, either up or up left. Anyways, more mashing and more some song playing as well. So after this text box here, I immediately start mashing start, and then I'll tap left, equip ocarina, and sorry, I went on cheats, but you should have bombs here as well. Doesn't really matter if you equip that or not, because you still gotta equip Deku Mask later, no matter what. But I usually equip both, and then unpause and immediately press ocarina out of the pause, and then here just play the song immediately as soon as you see the stop button on the top. You can play it as fast as you want, and then press yes, reset. So right here in this reset, I just hold down, so you go immediately back in, and then I hold up left, spin once, and target the salesman and talk to him, and then again you're gonna mash some text, learn a new song, and that's the last big cutscene we're gonna have before SRM. So here, after this last text, I hold left, and then I'm gonna roll and target, and then you can basically roll forward from there. And then on the next screen, very similar, you're gonna hold right, roll and target, and then get to the guard and just talk to him. Our objective right now is to go farm 1 bomb drop from Termina Field. So thanks to Kyle's SRM, we have a new heat manip that only uses 1 bomb. There's actually a 0 bomb one as well. We only need 1 bomb drop for all the categories now. And normally we would farm this bush here as well, which I'll show you. But You can honestly just go for the other two if you're just going for a really good run. I mean, it depends how you feel about it. When I come up this cliff, this bomb chew almost always comes at me, and I use him to blow up this bush. So he helps me farm in a way. And no luck yet. So if this was a run, this would suck. So anyways, your first objective is to get a bomb, and you're gonna clip into the gate that leads into the observatory. There it is. Normally if you didn't get one there, so let's say you got unlucky, you can always go in here. And then this grotto has bushes that you can actually farm as well. They drop the same shit. And so, yeah, just keep farming until you get one. And then I'll show you the clips. Normally you do it with a bomb, but you can also use this real bomb chew right here to do it. And I mean, I guess it probably loses a little bit of time, but like still, it, you know, if the stuff in observatory is not necessarily easy, especially when you're starting out. So with the bomb, all you really have to do, you're gonna get into this corner, target the wall, and then shield turn down left. Very easy. And then you can pull the bomb much earlier than that, and I'll show it, but you just recoil flip and jam your control stick upright. And if you do that, you'll always get in. The upright part is very important, because otherwise you can potentially clip out of bounds if you do it like way wrong. The way I do it in runs, I pull the bomb like right around here, and then I just, you know, let it go. And once you have an innate timing for recoil flips, it's actually very easy, because this is very lenient. So like you can actually backflip super early as well. Just to show, like that was ridiculous, and it still works. So like it's a very lenient, if you're right into the corner, it's very, very lenient. You don't need to worry about it. So with the real bomb chew, first you need to draw his attention. So you can just stand at the foot of this hill here, and once he sees you, it's the same. You come to the corner, right? And then the only difference is you need to walk into the explosion a little. So like that, you just like walk forward as soon as he hits your shield, and you know, just like recoil flip in time. Again, it doesn't need to be a really good recoil flip, and jam it up right, man, and it works. You don't need to walk forward very much at all, and I wanted to demonstrate this. So like I walked forward a little bit less there just to demonstrate, like it's just a touch, so you don't need to rush it. Rushing it is the only real way that you can fail this. So once I clip in, I just start rolling like up leftish here, and I side hop onto this little ledge instead of climbing it up. And then you just come to the door, open it, and then there's a little bit of movement you do here in the observatory. You hold down as soon as you walk in, and then pretty much you can either do a second roll, or you can just like run along, like walk up a little bit and touch the side of the wall here. Then you're gonna do 2 side hops right, and you should be lined up good enough to backflip over that piece of the staircase there, and then you fall down here really quickly. I'll show that again how you do it in runs. So for those of you who are familiar with my SRM tutorial, quite a few things are different. The actual heat manip that we use is different because it uses 1 less bomb. That's how we're able to do this with only 5. And then also the items you're gonna get are also quite different, and it's a little. This is a very special SRM, so I'm just gonna cover the whole thing from end to end. None of this is time sensitive, so like you can do this as slowly as you want. Really the most important thing when you're doing this trick, don't grab anything extra, right? Don't break any extra pots, and make sure you're going in and out of each room completely. If you're not sure, the best visual cues is looking at the ground, and what I do when I enter this balloon room is I look at the green fog. If that green fog loads right there, you know that the room behind you unloaded. And then you can, like I said, you can also look at the ground right here, right? Because it's like this piece, right, starts loading it pretty much, right? So like the corner ends of each side of the floor, right? If that makes any sense. So like once you're here, you know you're in the clear. All right, so for this heat manip, the first thing you're gonna do is break this pot and grab this rupee in here. Make sure you don't break any of the other pots, and of course make sure you grab the rupee. And then immediately what you're gonna do is just roll left, shield drop a bomb, and turn Deku. We're turning Deku so we can shoot a bubble later, and it's just slightly faster to move as Deku rather than human. So anyways, you're gonna go into this room, right, to unload the bomb. That's step number 3. And then you're gonna go back in. You're gonna break that same pot, so now as Deku, you can just spin into it. It's just a little movement you're gonna have to practice. Make sure, again, you're not breaking any of the other pots. And then go back around. Make sure you go all the way into this room. So kind of, I try to aim for this block right here. I think this big ass block is very recognizable, so I try to stand right there because I know it's safe. And then I turn around, shoot a bubble. I kind of aim up in the air just to make sure it doesn't like hit the wall too early. I'm not sure that really matters. What does matter though is that it's loaded, so like the bubble is still loaded and you're still hearing the sound as you're going in and loading the observatory, right? So you can see the other room. So you just go like that, right? Like mash A. I'm not even sure that was 100% legit, but you would just mash A as soon as you release the bubble. And once you do that, that should be it. That should be the end of the manip. And you would come over here, get inverted camera, and do your super slide. So here's what the whole thing looks like when you're doing it in a speedrun. So doing this inverted camera, I do explain this in my basics tutorial, but I just want to reinforce it a little bit. It's like a slower, quick turnaround if you're really good at quick turnarounds. What you're going to do, target, let go, then target, then tap target again really quickly, right? So that's the initial movement. Like you're holding target against the wall, then you're going to tap it really quickly, and then you're going to time a tap right, and then a retarget, which is like immediately after the right, and it ends up looking like kind of like that. I failed at that time, but this is what it looks like. And you can also do it back like this, so you can do it whichever direction you want. Some people literally like they turn like this and they turn back, but I prefer targeting the wall. To line this up, you can either do it before like before you get inverted camera, and then if you have a good tap, or you can kind of just fidget your way back. This is the dot right here that you want to line up on Link's head, right? There's like 2 white lines, and then there's kind of like a dot in the middle below the big black texture, right? So like right here, this is perfect. This is where you want to drop the bomb. Like I said, the other thing you can do here is like, slowly walk yourself over like this, just like by getting the right position on the stick, right? So you can start walking up at first and then slowly make your way left so that Link walks like this. So if you happen to drop the bomb too close to the pot will explode, and that's why the trick doesn't work. And I'll show you what that looks like right here. So you see how that pot exploded? That'll make the heat manipulation not work now. Now, if you're too far away, like if you're all the way over here, what's going to happen is the bomb explosion simply isn't going to reach you when you grab the pot, and so you can't super slide. Anyways, you're going to drop your bomb, and then I'll just show you the movement really quick before doing it. You're going to walk down right a little bit, and then right. So you're going to switch in between, right? So it kind of looks like this, and this is the distance you want pretty much. You don't really want to get past this big-ass dot, like you don't want to be too close, because otherwise your timing for super sliding is very tight. Obviously, you also don't want to be too far away. You want to see, at the very least, that white texture on the right-hand side, right there. I like to see that. Like, that makes me feel safe. And then I don't want to be super-duper close, so I kind of want to be, like, here. Here is, like, the perfect middle position. It's really more about just making sure you unglue yourself from the wall at least a little bit, and then positioning yourself, like, at the correct distance from it, horizontally, right? Now for timing your super slide, you pretty much want to look at the fast flashes and go after the, like, pretty much add the second fast red flash, okay? So it looks like this, right? I kind of like 1, 2, And then while you're super sliding down this tunnel like I just did, you want to let go of target as soon as you get the super slide. Because that'll uncold the bomb and it'll actually allow the trick to work. It's part of how SRM works. So let go of target first, and then you're only gonna let go of R once you're past you loaded the hideout. And a good visual cue for that is like the black of the tunnel and that white flash that happens. Once you see the white flash, you're guaranteed to be safe. So once you have it in your hands and you've done the correct heat manip, hopefully, you're gonna tap left to turn around, back walk, and then once you can't see the other rune, you're gonna back walk back in. And then here we gotta get a very specific angle for Link so that when he drops this pot, it magically makes the SRM chest work. If you're more curious about all of this, by the way, I spell it out more in my SRM tutorial. So anyways, you're gonna back walk into this wall and make sure that you see Link's hands like curl up like that, like they form a little cup, right? That's just to make sure that you're backing into the wall, and then once you've paused, you can let go of everything, right? Once you've back walked in, and then hold left, and then you're gonna buffer, and I'll buffer it frame by frame here just to show you. So you see that, you know, Link starts turning, and then he starts walking, and once he starts walking, he starts dropping like this. He bobbles down, right? He's gonna bobble back up here. This is the frame that you want, frame 7, I believe. And then the next frame looks like this. It has a little bit of Link's ear at the bottom, and the arm is obviously much bigger, right? So this frame will fail. You want the frame before it, just to be very clear. And that's how you can tell between the two. If you happen to fail the angle, you can retry it as many times as you want, as long as you're not going back into that other room. You have plenty of room on this side to just keep trying it over and over. And ideally you want to one pause it. I usually get the frame before like that, but ideally you want to one pause it and be able to recognize the frame. So once you have the frame that you want, you're just going to release everything, target, walk forward, and shield drop the pot like that. The walking forward bit is very, very important because if it changes Link's angle very slightly, and we need a very precise value. So just make sure you're doing that. Holding up, shield drop it. That's all you gotta do. And then I usually keep the same angle here. I stay targeted because rolling off this ledge is actually kind of difficult. But you just roll off here, side hop, and then you're gonna make your way to where the chest is, which is behind a bombable wall. Here, you kind of take that turn kind of shitty. There's a skull tula right here, so you don't want to hit her anyways. But you're gonna aim to jump, like roll jump on the right hand side of this torch right here, just all the way. And literally all you're gonna do is tap left and press B, and it's gonna give you like a little super swim like that, like a little torch boost. It's really easy to get. So anyways, you're gonna move down this way. Make sure you stick to the left hand side to avoid the Skulltula right here. And press A to climb the ledge quickly. Now ideally you'd pull a bomb straight away right here, but I want to explain this trick a little bit more in depth. I use Kyle's facing angle because it's faster for this category, I'm pretty sure. And because it relies on the camera actually rotating around Link, like it's not a C-up setup, it has a few inconsistencies depending on how the camera turns. I'm not really, like, I haven't looked at this stuff. I haven't scienced it out, so I don't know how it works. But there are two methods that I've seen that seem to be consistent. The way I do it is that I shield drop the bomb here, and then I actually shield turn down, and then I hold upright, pull the bomb, target the chest, and pause in that order. So I always pull the bomb before I target the chest, and I target the chest, let go of the control stick for a hot second, and pause. And that's how I make my... that's how it became consistent for me. And then from here, you're just going to hold down, and you actually need to let quite a few frames pass, but I'll just buffer them one by one to show you. You know what? I'll actually go on KZ right now. Alright, so I've just paused, right? I'm going to start holding down, and then frame 2, Link is going to turn around. And then right here, he's going to walk 2 frames, and then notice he's going to start looking down. This is the frame you want to release everything on. It's also the frame the camera starts like rotating a little bit. So you can look at that as well, like you can look at the walls and tell if the camera is rotating, but I like to look at Link's face and see that his face like shifts down like that, right? The other important thing is to not target immediately. You want to let just let everything go for a hot second. Just let the game like freak out, right? For half a second, and then you target, and then from there you're just gonna backwalk and do bomb time stop, right? So let go of everything, backwalk, do bomb time stop. This is actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. If you backwalk too early, the way it works is kind of weird. If you're backwalking into the chest as you're doing bomb time stop, you'll actually like immediately gain control of Link, so it's like slightly faster. But it's kind of risky because if you touch the chest before the bomb explodes, then the trick is not going to work because Link is not like walking at full speed, so he doesn't keep his hands above his head, and you need him to do that for the trick to work. So as you can see, I actually have my collision angle up on KZ, and I'll show you what the actual value is. If you want to put it on your KZ, you can look at the same thing I'm looking at, and you'll know you got the right camera angle after you time stop if you're walking straight down and it says 220 or 221. Either of those values are acceptable. And one of the funny things is that the very first SRM I do in particular, which is Deku Princess, is one of those that screws it up. So if you get Deku Princess, you're pretty much guaranteed to have gotten the right angle as well. So you can use that in runs. So the second strat I'm going to show you is one that Imbued pretty much proved is always going to give you the right angle, and it's also slightly faster. It's just a little bit of a timing thing. It's slightly harder to like time stuff, and I'll show you what I mean. Basically, your objective, you're going to drop a bomb pretty far over here, and you're going to come to this corner, target, and immediately pause and get that same frame. And then from there, you would pull a bomb. You would time your bomb pull so that it's pretty close to when the wall is going to blow up, right? So you need to have a pretty good idea of how far along this bomb is, the one that you just dropped. I guess all I'm really trying to say is you need to practice it so you have a consistent movement pattern. From there, you would target and then just time stop. So anyways, once you get bomb time stop, no matter which of the two ways you do it, and you have the correct angle, then you can get into the meat of the actual trick, which is all the little ESS setups and whatnot. I just want to talk about a few things. One of the things is Deku Princess always needs to come before the two other bottled items, which are Red Potion and Chateau. We're also going to be equip swapping Chateau over Bow. So we can't get a bunch of the items on the right side until that equip swap happens, and we have to get Deku Princess first. So you can either follow the route that I'm giving you, or you can create your own like sequence, right? Because you can do these really in any sequence. Just bear all those factors in mind, and also the fact that some of the setups required the initial angle from the short cutscene, right? So you need to be the SRM that comes before that one needs to have a short chest cutscene instead of a long chest cutscene. When I'm talking about these setups, I'm going to be talking about the direction that I'm holding the control stick on. Because of the way we do time stop, the camera is inverted. So when I say up, Link is actually going to be walking like towards the camera, right? Like down technically. But I'm talking about what I'm holding on the control stick, not where he's moving. Alright, so the first one's gonna be Deku Princess, and this one you're just gonna hold down, or shield turn down. It doesn't really matter, you don't need to shield turn. Make sure you're touching the chest, obviously. That's gonna be the case for a large majority of these. And then you're gonna do 3 ESS taps left. Here, I'll show that again. 1, 2, 3. That's Deku Princess. And like I mentioned earlier, this is one of those dead giveaways that if you get the wrong item here, you almost certainly got the wrong facing angle, so you didn't do the bomb time stop setup correctly. This next one is Biggest Bomb Bag, and you need to be facing up, so you can either like shield turn up over here somewhere, or just hold up from mashing text and then crouch. Doesn't really matter. And then I ESS down left, but you can just do left and down, or whatever combination you like. I do down left, and I get to like around here, and then I start tapping ESS right, and I want this frame. It's the frame that, if you look at his right arm, his elbow's cut off, and his thumb is still showing, so it's like, not this, it's this. Like his thumb is showing up barely, right? And then you come over here, and you just touch this wall pretty much. Make sure you walk along it a little bit. And then side hop out, side hop left, and open. Next one's Squiver, and for this you're going to turn up, but you're going to be making sure that you're colliding with the chest, and then ESS right until this frame right here. I look at Link's chest. There's like a little triangle that forms in his chest, and that's what I look at personally, but you could also look at his right arm. That's a pretty good visual cue as well. Anyways, once you get this, I remember on my SRM tutorial I told people to roll a lot, and you can still do that, but Kyle does it a faster way, where he just does a guano up like this, and then you tap down the turnaround and grab the item from the chest, right? So you need to make sure you unglue yourself from the chest, and you don't like hold down, you need to tap down, but it's decently fast. It's faster by like 5 seconds if you're rolling in like a weird direction, you know? Now we're gonna get choose twice, and this is one of the easier ones. You target the chest, ESS right once, and that's choose. And because the first time you get him, it gives you a long animation, you can actually just mash A, and he'll grab him again. We need 4 sets total, so that's 2 sets, right? 20 choose. And that's also the reason why we grabbed Biggest Bomb Bag earlier. So anyways, this next setup is from a short cutscene, which is what you saw there, where Link just kicks the chest. We're gonna get Chateau, which is 2 ESS frames right, so 1, 2, and then backflip and roll like that. And you kind of want to do a dry backflip. Like what I mean by that is you don't hold down all the way, so that a single roll gets you past the chest, and then all you have to do is tap down and press A, just like you would if you were guano walking. Now we're gonna get choose again, and then for one of my favorite setups, which is Goron Mask, side hop right, walk up, side hop left, and then walk like down right-ish. I haven't really perfected this yet, but it's a pretty fast setup. So right here I put Song of Soaring because it requires a C up, so it's the perfect opportunity to buffer, and we're also gonna equip swap. So here you're gonna shield turn right, C up, pause, and then you can already do the equip swap here. You want to keep Deku, and then equip Goron, and equip swap Chateau over Bow, which is like that. So again, if any item was sitting over here on the right hand side, you would not be able to do this. That's why this order of SRM is important, at least until you get to this point in time. Like once you have this equip done, then you really don't have to worry about it. Anyway, so I turned right and I C up without moving a frame yet. We're gonna buffer 1 frame of left, like that, and from there exit, and we're gonna ESS left pretty much all the way. And again, I'm gonna be looking at Link's chest, looking for a little triangles, the frame before this one, this frame right here. And you're gonna guano up, turn around, press A, and that's Song of Soaring. There's a sequence of SRMs here that need that short cutscene, like in a row. So if you happen to fail any of them, you can always just get an extra set of chews. It's not a big deal. You can get as many chews as you want. So anyways, what you're going to do, first one is Sun Song, a single frame of ESS right, guano walk right, not up, you need to guano walk right, and then turn around, open the chest like usual. Epona song, what you're gonna do is 4 ESS, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I just count them. I don't really have a visual cue for this. And then walk left, collide with this wall, roll away, and then hold like again like down right-ish. The final one of this sequence is Giant's Wallet, and you're gonna see up left 1 frame, which looks like that. And then your ESS right 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I just count them. Guano up, same thing. So right here, there are 2 setups that are very similar to one another. The first one is pendant. You're gonna come to this right side wall over here, so walk left all the way and target. And then ESS right pretty much all the way. It's not all the way, but it's not this frame. So see this frame, you can see Link's like buckle in his belt, like in his chest, right? The frame before you cannot. It's like a straight line of brown, like a very thin stripe. This is the frame you're looking for, and I call it pointy belt because like this is not pointy, this one's pointy. And you can kind of look at his arm too if you want, so like the spacing of his arm to it. But that's the way I judge it. And then anyways, once you do that, you're gonna target again and literally just walk to the chest and make sure you rub against it a little bit like this, either the other way around or just make sure that when you're walking in you touch it, you know, because that's gonna set the right value. And that's pendant. And then hookshot, it's the same, except you don't really need to come to this right wall. You can come to this right side of the chest, which is, if you target it, it's the same. Like, it serves the same purpose. It's going to give us the same angle. So, same frame all the way around. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yes, it's this one. And that was actually super fast. Just walk upright-ish into the wall and backflip out like that. And I usually do it in such a way that I can just tap down and open the chest. Like, usually the spacing works out if you target that left-hand side of the chest. This next one's powder keg, and you're gonna shield turn right and ESS down until you see the frame before, which is this one. I call it Spiky Arm because the arm kind of has a spike on the left. I don't know. I just kind of look at the arm and I make sure the elbow's showing up. This next one is red potion, and what I do is I make sure I'm touching the chest and I shield turn up because you're gonna collide against it, and then I ESS down. Make sure he's turning left, so like down leftish or down. And this is the frame right here, and the way I can just tell is that both hands are showing up equally. Like that's legitimately the way I can tell, because like the frame before, which is this one, they're not. Like you can see Link's thumb, right? So the thumb gets cut off on the right hand side. This is the frame. This next one is light arrows, and what you're gonna do is shield turn left and then start ESS right. Make sure that he's turning, you know, down, not up, but ESS right. And what I look for is his ear on the top. So see this frame right here, how his ear was actually past the sword for like a millisecond. That's the frame I'm looking for. These last ones now are really easy. Gray Fairy Sword, you're just gonna hold down or shield turn down and tap ESS left twice. So 2 frames of ESS. For Lens, you're gonna target the chest and do 2 frames of ESS right, like this. And finally, you would get a final set of chews if you haven't already. So you get 4 total, and you can work that one in the middle of the other ones if you want. Like if you want to spread out the short cutscene setups, you can definitely do that. So once you do that, you should be done, and I'll just show you what your inventory should look like. You should have Chateau equip swapped here, again, 40 bombs, 40 chews, keg, all of these items filled up, right, in the bottles, all 3 bottles, light arrows, those 2 guys are the same, and then this whole row of songs filled out. This is the spot that Sun Song goes into, and then Song of Soaring, we have SRM Epona Song, and these 2 you get earlier. So in terms of mistakes that you can make, extra items that you get because you got the wrong SRM setup, it doesn't really matter that much in this category. Any extra items are not really going to affect it unless they're before you do the equip swap, which is, you know, like if they're on the right hand side and they prevent you from doing it, but otherwise it doesn't matter. Extra masks, as long as they're not transformation masks, you can just bottle dupe over them, and you're gonna get a fish when you go do midnight meeting, so you'll have the fish to do it, and you can just do that and get the mask normally from source, and it'll work. Extra songs don't matter either, so it's really more about getting everything up to the equip swap. So now that you're done, you're just going to exit the clock town. There's a little bit of an awkward movement you need to do here, because again, your controls are inverted, and also it's just, you got to dodge the Skulltula. There's like, it's just kind of annoying. So just going to narrate it before I do it. I basically, once I'm clearing the last text box, I'm holding up, and then I wait just for Link to start moving, and pretty much as I see him start moving, I react to it, and I switch to up left, and I roll. It's pretty much like that. You just get to this side right here and hold up all the way, and then right around here, hold up right. And then this angle right here in particular on the control stick's a little bit awkward to roll into this tunnel, because otherwise you'll bonk on the wall on the side. And it's pretty much right between right and upright. Like, it's not in any notch, it's between the two notches. So you just kind of got to practice that a little bit and get a feel for it. Alright, so what you're going to do as soon as you get out, you're going to turn Deku and then immediately mash Chateau to drink it. The reason we're drinking it is so that we have a bottle in our bow slot now. And this bottle is going to be useful for a trick that we're going to do for midnight meeting soon enough. So here, you're just going to equip Ocarina anywhere. It doesn't really matter as long as you keep Goron equipped. And then you play Sun Song once. That's going to make it night 1. And we go get Cafe Mask, which is right here in Mayor's office. So we'll just wait for this to happen. Like that. Get in there. Just mash A after that little cutscene. Just hold up right there. Go to this door, hold down left here. Target her. Mash B, and then press yes here. So that's just the top option. You can just mash A, B the whole time. And then mash that little text there. And just exit. And it's all the same thing. And here I kind of like to turn, so I go from like down to down right. Because otherwise you hit the wall there. So now we're just going to head to West Clocktown. This is just the fastest way to go about it. You go through Soft Clocktown and then you use this top part here. And then this hover is pretty easy if you're good with Chew height hovers against the wall. As long as you're fast enough with doing them, you shouldn't have an issue. Just leave Goron equipped, get bombs and chews, and then I just come to this wall. ISG, hover off the bomb, and then it's 10 Chew hovers. So that's 3, 4... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Side hop, jump slash, like that. The jump slash timing is pretty, like, it's not precise, but you definitely have to make it past this line. Because if you don't make it past this line, you'll hit the loading zone, and the trick won't work, and you're going to waste all your chews and stuff. You can always try again. But, you know, you might run out of explosives and have to buy them, maybe. So if you're still having issue with the wall hovers, just look at my beginner tutorial. I have a pretty good section on them there. And then here, just gotta nail this jump slash timing. And again, if you jump slash cancel, it's slightly faster. And I just hold up right from here. Come here. You can do a roll and then whack the owl. So normally this owl would still have its wings closed, and then when you'd hit it, there'd be like a green texture that shows up. You need to wait for that to actually go away before you go through the loading zone. And you also can't really like have the owl be way out of the camera's view, like having the camera way turned around, because otherwise it won't actually transform either, and you won't get hit an owl if that's the case. So the way to go about this that's like safe is you whack it, you hold down a little bit, and then you kind of like tap up or wherever, right? Just to make sure that you keep facing it like that. And then you wait just a beat and you start back walking. So here you would just turn Goron again and just hold down right for that little bit of movement there. We're gonna make our way back to the inn while it's not yet closed. And then here, unequip Goron. And you're gonna pause and get Cafe Mask, Ocarina, Bottle. Put on Cafe Mask and talk to Anju. Just mash through that text. And then here, literally tap down to turn around, backflip through the counter, and you're gonna go kind of like up leftish here. It's kind of a like little weird movement. Here comes the collection delay trick I was talking about. You're gonna grab this fish. So just to talk a little bit about what our objective is here, what we want to make happen is we want to complete the midnight meeting without receiving the letter from Anju, which is normally not possible. We're gonna make it be possible with this trick right here that uses the fish. It's a collection delay. So because we already have pendant, once we set the midnight meeting flag, we can then give pendant to Anju on day 2. And we already have it because we SRM'd it, but we can't have letter replace that. And so that's why this is really important. And on top of that, we're going to be using Sun Song immediately to get to the, to get to midnight meeting, to make it so that it's the right time. And the problem with that is that you need to talk to Anju pretty quickly. And right after you accept receiving the letter, the game is going to start playing again because you're not actually going to get the letter, right? So you need to mash Ocarina pretty much right after that to soar away immediately. The reason why in-game time is important here is because we're trying to make it to aliens, but we still need to grab Zora Mask and we need to get to Goron Village first. So the play-by-play goes like this pretty much. You're going to grab the fish, right? And then you're going to immediately drop it, and it's kind of a precise position, but not really. You want the fish to end up on this square pretty much. So the square that I'm drawing with Link's feet right now, that's where you want it to be. So like, not past this counter this way, not past the counter that way. So there's 2 important things about the placement of this fish. Number 1 is once you drop him, he likes to jump around and move around, and where he goes is kind of unpredictable. So that's why this zone is a little bit like more precise, I guess, than it seems. It's because there's a little bit of variance there. So you need to watch out for that. Make sure he's like dead center, Just be precise with it. Like take the 5 seconds to do it so your run doesn't die, especially when you're starting out. And then number 2, you don't want him anywhere past this counter because Anju's going to be standing here. And she like walks in, right? So even though it's Sun Song, like she still like has collision and she can push the fish away. And when she does, it's almost guaranteed that the trick will fail. So nowhere near Anju. The way you accomplish that, you can actually have Link standing behind this little ledge and he'll still drop the fish a little bit forward, right? So that's fine. Like that'll work fine. So Link can actually, what I'm trying to explain is that you actually want Link to stand a little bit behind where you exactly want to drop the fish. And the square that you want the fish to end up is this square. Does that make sense? So once you do that, I just mash Ocarina here and immediately play Sun Song. And then from here, target a little, walk in position, crouch and mash A. Like I said, this particular position where Link stands is not very precise, just kind of on the edge of the counter. And then you mash this text right here, and you're gonna say yes, and the next text box is the text box where it lets you go. So you see right there that time was still passing, right? That's why you need to mash Ocarina straight away, because Sun Song is still going on, so it's still gonna pass, all that time. So what you actually want to happen is, again, you're gonna say yes, mash one more text box, and then here you prepare to mash Ocarina, right? So essentially you want to be ready there, and it doesn't matter if you take a little bit of time to get ready, it's better than failing the trick, that's for sure. And then just play Song of Soaring. You don't need to set a pointer here because we're going to Great Bay. Our next mission is to get Zora Mask. So now, yeah, that section's all done. So now here, you're just going to roll off the platform to the left. We're setting up for a trick here. That's going to skip the Zora Mask cutscene. So you're going to void in this plane right here, and then immediately hold down and mash A through that cutscene. And what I'm trying to do there is ensure that I'm rolling off the beach as soon as possible. The way this kind of works is that Macau has a timer, and that timer depends on how long you've taken to get to him and how long you walked around. And so by making our movement consistent here, we also make that timer consistent, and that means that we can have a visual cue so we can backflip onto the water as Goron, and that'll void us at the same time that the cutscene's playing. So after you void out, pretty much your entire movement needs to be consistent, and the way you achieve that is by doing what I did there. So hold down, mash A into the water, and then keep holding down the entire way. And luckily, this is a good enough angle where it gets to this dialogue, right? So once this dialogue like auto triggers, you just mash it. And there's a little technique here that a lot of people like to do. What they do is they hold A after they mash the last text box. There's 4, right? And you hold A all the way. And all you need to do is swim into him. And Link will automatically grab him. So you do that. And then, just to explain, you're just going to push him all the way to the shore, right? But then, once you're getting close to it, you're going to hold shield. So that way, by holding shield, you're going to crouch as soon as you get to the beach, right? As soon as you land on the beach. So that'll make your position consistent. And because Link is crouched, it'll also allow you to see Macau's head. And that's our visual cue for this trick. You're going to see Macau's head bob up and then down. And then once you see it bob down and you no longer see it at all, you're going to let go of shield and immediately mash Goron Mask. And then a lot of people hold shield and up. So, like, it skips the Goron Mask cutscene, right? So you do that, but then you immediately target, walk backwards, and then when the water is, like, in Link's neck, right? So, like, Goron Link's neck, when it reaches that point, you backflip. You can skip this trick if you want, by the way. It will not really affect in-game time all that much. In fact, doing the trick will cost a little bit more in-game time. But, yeah, it's just about the time save, which is significant. So, just to let you know. And then, obviously, once you push him and he's there, you just get close to him. Once you hear the jingle, right, you know that you're in the right area, and you play Song of Healing, and you're going to watch a cutscene. So towards the end of this cutscene here, I start holding right, and I'm going to pause as soon as the game starts up again. And here we're just going to equip Choose over Goron. You want to keep Bombs on Ocarina equipped. And then unpause, pull out a bomb, and you're going to super slide kind of in that direction. We're trying to get behind the fisherman's hut here. So you can just super slide over to this point, and then you can side hop like twice, and you'll be there. It's this hole right here. And we're going to do an alternate exit. So this is fun. Fun hover stuff. There's 3 ways you can go about this beginning. So in all 3 ways, we're going to be getting ISG off of this bush here on the left. And it's actually really easy. All you got to do is do a full side hop left. The way you go about doing a full side hop, you just do a regular side hop, keep holding left the entire time, but you switch from target, right? So you release target and you hold shield. And that guarantees that Link will crouch in place as soon as he lands, right? And I'll just demonstrate what that looks like real quick. You're going to full side hop left, turn around, right? So shield turn down. And then here, once you do that, you're just going to hold left and get ISG. I suck. But anyways, that's what it would look like. And then your options are, you can either do a bomb hover from here, you can do a chew hover from here, or you can drop a bomb during your side hop, get ISG, and then use that bomb. And that option obviously saves a little bit more time, right? The pulling the bomb after is obviously the slowest, and the chew is intermediate. And it depends how you're handling your chews here. If you're going to go for a mega flip or a mega side hop at the end of this trick, then that's okay. But if you're not, then the chew count can be a little tricky. So whichever way you choose to go about it with the first 2 hovers, the rest of the trick is the same. You're going to do 5 more hovers backwards, and you're going to want to let go of target during these hovers because you're going to untarget on the chew on the final 5th hover. If you don't know what untargeting is, it unlocks your camera during the hover so you can change Link's position. Again, basics tutorial. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th, you untarget like that. Now the camera is unlocked. I hold up, tap right, and this is the direction you want to face. And you're going to do 10 hovers up. Now it's kind of interesting with these 10 hovers. There's a little bit of a lag in the middle section. Like the first 2 are free, you can do kind of quickly, and then the middle ones, you gotta take them a little slow. Otherwise, you're gonna end up dropping inputs, right? And you usually end up dropping the backflip input, so Link is just gonna like explode chews on himself like that. If you notice that happening, that's why you're going too quickly. And so yeah, just watch out for that little lag spike, and you're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now usually you can't see this. The camera is usually a little bit further down if you're doing this quickly. But you'll see now that Link is very close to that seam at the top. This will make it so usually a chew hover will fail like automatically no matter how you do it. Like it'll just get stuck to that seam no matter what. So here the prudent thing, the thing that you should do is do a bomb hover instead and do a bomb height hover. And once you see Link's head clear, like if the Link's head is above the seam, you know that you can backflip out. And then from here, there's, like I said, there's 3 ways to go about it. There's mega flip, mega side hop, and just regular hovers. So really what determines which version you go for here is how comfortable you are with mega flips or mega side hops, and also just how many explosives you want to save. Theoretically, this route is chew perfect, or maybe there's like 1 extra chew, I'm not really sure. But if you're the type of person that, you know, can like sometimes wastes chews in Hidden Owl or in the Grotto, or if you have a problem with Sakon's Hideout, for example, then this is your chance to have that extra safety net, you know? If you're not concerned about any explosive tricks, then you can just do the regular method and not have to stress about it. Anyways, once we get here, the only reason we really go here is so we have Goron Village in our map, so we can Sword of Stone Tower. From here, we're actually going to equip Keg, Ocarina, Goron. Actually, I should have left Ocarina equipped, but anyways. And then we're going to select Clock Town. There's going to be way less pointers on the map when you do this in a run. Obviously, I'm using cheats, but you're going to select Clock Town, which is Milk Road. So here we go. We're going to use our Keg to open up the ranch. So just transform into Goron immediately. Get close to it. Use Keg twice, and then here I equip bombs over Keg. take off Goron Mask and pull a bomb immediately. And that way, you ensure that the keg will explode as soon as possible. Do a recoil flip there just for the little bit of speed. And then turn Goron and go in. In here, we're just going to play Sun Song. And ideally, if you get here before the cutscene even plays, like before the aliens are even here, you can just mash start out of that cutscene, out of them appearing, and do 13 pauses. And that'll work every time. So if you're late to aliens, what you're gonna have to do, don't enter the ranch. You're gonna have to day reset outside here. It takes 6 explosives to get up here, so whatever combination you want to use, you're gonna have to use at least 1 chew. And the camera's kind of crap to do bomb hovers, so honestly, you might just have to eat the chews, but 4 up there, right? And then here, honestly, you can just do a hover ocarina dive. I'm pretty sure you can do a regular ocarina dive off this ledge, but you can also just hover like I did there. And Song of Double Time. So once you store Song of Double Time, what we're going to be doing is pulling it up and then pressing yes as soon as you go through the loading zone. So in this example, I was at the owl and I already blew up this rock. I would pause, right? Here's my text box, and then don't press A yet. You press A once he's in the loading zone. Like that. And on the later side is more safe. So once you do that, it's going to be Dawn of the First Day. And you would just play Sun Song twice. And it would get you to the aliens cutscene. So once you get your hands on some milk, your mission is to play Sun Song again. And we're just getting to night 2. Because we're going to need it to be night 2 to do a day reset once again. Not as a backup this time, but as an actual strat. And so during the second Sun Song right here, you can already start setting up. There's really 2 ways you can go about it. You can either just let the second Sun Song go all the way and then pull the bomb, or you can pull the bomb right before it turns night 2. And that way you're also cutting a little bit of the fuse. It's just a slightly harder strat to pull off. You have to have a good timing to start your backwalk. Alright, so once you get the time stop, doesn't matter which way you go about it, you're just going to kind of walk up leftish over here. I just kind of like a spot where I can see Cremia so I know where I'm going. You need to reach her decently quick. Like, you need to be talking to her before the text box shows up, right? And you need to mash her text quickly as well. If you do not mash her text quickly, there's a chance that the Song of Double Time text box just never shows up. So keep that in mind, okay? But yeah, you're going to play Song of Double Time, C up twice, and then just roll to her, and target and talk. And then mash, mash yes, mash yes. And you want to mash decently quick there, just to make sure you hit both of those text boxes. And now it's day 2 again. So what we did there, essentially, we, set the flag for Link riding with Cremia. But we changed it, so now it's day 2 instead of night 2, which is what the game is expecting it to be. And so the cutscene never plays. But the fact that Link is riding with Cremia is still stored, and we're gonna abuse that pretty soon after we do Epona race. So yeah, here, just turn Goron again. And you could actually call Epona earlier if you like. You can play Epona song back there and ride Epona all the way to the brothers, but I just like Goron rolling, I guess. And then make sure you're not low on magic by grabbing that magic right there. And once you're here, you normally watch a little intro cutscene, but you're gonna play Epona song. And once Epona is here, you do not need the climber actually. You literally just need to have Epona present, and then you talk to this dude right here. And make sure you have some rupees on you. Thank you, cheats. And this race is very straightforward. I'm just gonna kind of narrate it as I go. I mash A and hold up right here just to make sure I get in this corner. And then I kind of use all the carrots but one. And you're gonna go around this bend. And here you're gonna wait to recharge. The reason you want to be on the inside there is because otherwise one of the brothers bullies you really hard. It just slows you down. So now here, again, you're gonna use all the way up until you only have one. And then here you're gonna let either 1 or 2 carrots restore, jump the fence. This you always let 2 carrots restore, jump the fence again, and then round the corner and let them all recharge. And then once you got a straight line in this corner, you want this line right here. You just use all of them pretty much. I actually kind of slacked right there, but it doesn't matter. Just go on the outside, and it's an easy win every time. In case you really suck, I'll show you a backup strat you can do at the end there, jump in the gates. That really speeds you up. So once you get your mask, all you're gonna do is play Sun Song, and this is where that cutscene comes into play. So now it's gonna take us directly to a further point in the Creamia ride, and we're just gonna shoot the same guys that we just shot. A fun little archery minigame. Make sure you say yes to her here. You gotta select at the bottom, so you know, tap down and press A. And then here, you're just gonna hit each guy 3 times. If you do that, it's safe. And I just hit the ones that are charging, of course. So that's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And then here we look down purely for lag reasons. Saves like, you know, frames, but like every frame counts, right? So once you've done that, we're back in Clocktown now, and you're gonna keep Goron equipped. You're gonna put a bottle. I always put the bottle on Z, because that's where I like it, so I guess I'm re-equipping Goron. And then you also equip Pendant, which I don't have because of cheats, but there it is. So you just turn Goron and roll into the entrance that's right behind you. Here, hold left, and get in the stock pot in. Take off Goron, talk to Anju, give her the pendant. Like that. And then our next mission, you can just exit. We're gonna grab the straight ferry that's right outside here. You can do that with a Goron pound. Like this, kind of. If I didn't suck, I'd grab her. There you go. So now we're heading to the laundry pool, and really what we gotta do there is get Bremen Mask, and then make it day 3 and grab Keaton Mask. But we're also gonna be getting some bugs on the way. So first, you talk to him. Get your Bremen Mask. Then take off Goron. Hopefully more quickly than that. And get your bugs. They sit right behind them. And then right here, you can pause, and you're gonna equip Ocarina on the empty slot. And you can play your Sun Song. And while Sun Song is going, I'm gonna pause right after so I can equip the right stuff. It's gonna be Deku and bombs. Oh, and you leave bugs equipped. And you're just gonna be setting up. I just get like close to this wall over here and I target it, because that's how I do my setup for Index Trick. So for Index Trick, all you're gonna do is target the wall very close to the edge here. Like if you're standing on the gray at all, you're good. Like on this gray ledge instead of the grass. And then, you know, after you target the wall, shield turn right, lay down a bomb, target, and then turn Deku, hold shield, and hold up right. That's all you gotta do, and he'll get in there. If you don't like lining up manually for the ledge, which is, it's pretty lenient, but if you don't want to line up manually, you can always just target the wall, do some sword slashes that way, shield turn down, and then same thing, just make sure you're targeted, hold up right, and you're in there. And you're just gonna spin all the way up here and talk to our friend. So once you're done talking to him, you're gonna take off Deku Mask, and you're gonna equip Goron and Ocarina, and you're gonna leave Bugs alone. So leave Bugs there, we're gonna keep him until we get the Sakon's hideout. And then select Goron Village Pointer, that means we're going to Stone Tower. So here, you're just gonna turn Goron as soon as you can, and you're gonna fall down. I always aim for the second platform, so I start holding down pretty much as soon as he falls off, and then you have like a long time to adjust. And I aim to fall on this block right here. And then you gotta take off Goron Mask to jump the gap, and then you put it back on and go through. Just to note, there is a strategy that saves like 5 seconds where you can actually just like land straight up on this block if you hold down like all the way. Like you gotta time it super well is what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's worth it, but it's out there if you want to look for it. So this next trick is called Gibdo House Clip, and it's fairly easy to do it from this side as Goron. There's a few other alternatives I'm going to show as well. The only hard part about this particular method is dodging the Gwei. You need to go while the Gwei is far enough away that he's not going to get to you, and the Gibdo is not going to block you, because if the Gibdo is in the corner that you're trying to clip into, the trick will also not work. Like the Gibdo can't push you sideways. Another thing I wanted to note is that the Gwei pattern is a little bit RNG. So there are situations where you'll have a bigger window and situations where you have a tighter window, but it's always possible. And if you practice it enough, it'll be 90 to 100% consistent. So here's how the trick goes. You're going to target, you're going to do a hold side hop and 2 tapped side hops. Punch, 1, 2, 3 tapped side hops. Curl. Wait until you can see the house from underneath, and then you roll forward. Now that was just a little bit too late, and that's an example of when you're too far into the cycle, so I was too slow there, and the Gibdo blocked me. He moved me horizontally so I wouldn't clip. Now, most of the time when I go for this, I do end up getting the Gibdo Scream, which does cut a little bit of the time save of doing it this way. But if you're really good, you can avoid that, and I'll just show you a clip of it because I can't really get it consistently. Now on to the backups. I'm going to show you 2 different backups that use a chew to recoil. One of them is from the Po Hut, and the other one is just kind of lining it up with C up. So once you get in here, take off Goron, and we side hop down this. It's faster. That movement was kind of jank, but I think you get the point. And then pull out Ocarina, Song of Healing. So once you exit here, turn Goron, and all you're really going to want to do is get onto this corner right here. And then curl, and then once you get to this ledge here, you kind of like go up leftish, anywhere around there will land. It's not that hard of a jump to make, you just gotta get used to it. So anyways, once you get there, the trick to actually getting in the hideout is stupid easy. You're gonna target anywhere of this left side of this rock thing right here, right? So there's a line that kind of splits that's like right here if you look at the seams at the bottom. So anywhere on the left hand side, and you're gonna kind of walk into this corner. You can just walk straight onto this surface, right? And Link will like slowly edge himself. And then you'll get to the point where he'll clip through the seam. And when he clips through the seam, you want to roll forward and you want to be holding left. So first things first, you're gonna drop bugs and you're gonna collect bugs. And then you're gonna just open the door and then immediately start mashing start. It must be like 2 frames. I don't know what the actual frame data for this is, but I get it like almost every time. And then here, you're gonna buffer in target and shield at the same time. It's kind of hard to do if you're not used to it. You gotta buffer into unpause lag, and then you can either look at Link or you can look at the lines on the wall. I look at the lines on the wall because the camera shifts like just enough that you can tell that a frame has passed, and it's kind of tricky, and you'll see what I mean now. Like that little imperceptible shift. And so now you're gonna keep holding L and R, and you're gonna mash whatever button bottle's on. Mine's on Z. And that's time stop. And then here you're gonna step on the switch, and then there's actually 2 things you can do. You can either talk to Cafe preemptively, but what most runners do is they C up and they just look right a little bit. And then once you cancel C up and turn around, you can target before Tattle flies over there again. Anyways, once you do that, you gotta do your equip. You do bombs choose, and then normally you have mail here, like that. And pull a bomb. Recoil flip. That recoil flip is actually way more lenient than it looks, but it looks cool, so I'm glad it's in the run. And then here you're just gonna target the wall, turn around, ISG. Then it's 1 bomb hover, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's pretty much when Link goes off screen, which is also pretty easy to tell. Yeah, very laggy in here, so do your hover slow. And then you're gonna hold up and back. You're not gonna hold up, and that's the catch. You backflip and then you let go of up quickly, and he'll fall in like that. If you hold up too far, he won't fall in this middle platform, he'll just fall on the other side. And that doesn't help you at all. If you really screw this up, your 2 alternatives are either you can't really complete it normally most of the time. You're gonna have to either soar, and when you soar you go back to the entrance, or you can try to hover again if you have the choose even, or the explode. I guess you could sub in bombs, but anyways, once you get in this middle, it's a super slide. This might be late, and it sure was because I suck. And you can cancel ISG either before the super slide or after the super slide. It's up to you. If you do it before though, Link will fly off like that, which is like, I guess it's technically slightly slower, but it also makes the movement predictable, so it's up to you. Now I sneakily changed my equip, and I'm gonna try to demonstrate this cutscene skip. Basically what happens is I'm gonna step on this switch with Link, and then on the other switch with Cafe, and in the middle of that there is a frame where if you hit male, it'll skip a little dialogue that they have. And you can either mash just male, which is what I do, or you can mash male and start if you're good enough to mash with like both hands, you know? I can't really do that, so but I'll just show what it looks like. And here you can just hold down right-ish for Cafe. And here I failed it, for example. So see that the cutscene still played, but it still said the item, you know, like he still pulled male. That means I was a frame late. In both cases, by the way, you do the same thing. You're just gonna step into the top switch. It's just that if you had pulled male, you would have skipped that whole little sequence there. Alright, so after the hideout, we're gonna equip our red potion, which I didn't have previously, but now I do. Goron and Lens. And we're gonna roll all the way to the graveyard and get all the stuff there. This first part here is easy. Just stick to the left hand side. Make sure you get spikes before that bubble, or before this bubble. And then you can literally just jump off and let go of A midair, and you'll land in a pretty good spot. He's right here, and you just talk to him, mash his text, give him the potion. Now after that, we're gonna go up this way, like that. And we're also gonna do an equip here. We're gonna get hook shot and bombs, like that. Getting jinxed or not getting jinxed there doesn't really matter in this scenario. We're just gonna go all the way up. Don't usually get spikes here. Knock on Dampe's door. Do a weird shot. Very important for this weird shot that you're not too far to the right. Otherwise, you'll read the sign every time. And I'll kind of show you after I show you this. Ooh, I was almost too far back on that one. Usually this weird shot is lenient, but I almost didn't make that one. I'll show you a better one as well. So once you get up here, you're going to do Keaton Skip, and there's really 3 different ways you can go about it. I highly recommend the first one, which is a Zora Method. So with this method, what we're trying to do is Zora clip into the flames, and we're actually going to get hit by a bomb right before. So you get hit by a bomb, so you have invincibility, right? And then you Zora clip into the flames and open the chest really quickly before you get recoiled back. It's kind of a tight window, but if you get used to the pause, it's not that hard to perform, as long as you're used to Zora clips. Again, that's one of the things that's in my basics tutorial. So I'll show the whole trick first before I talk about some of the details, but I do this little composed setup from the side here, and it's a perfect distance to where like I pull the bomb as I'm walking up, and I side hop and do kind of a dry backflip like that, and that guarantees that I just drop the bomb in a good place where I can see it, and that, you know, Zora Link is in a good position. Like, that just works for me every time. I find it easy to do. Honestly, what a lot of people do, and you can do this too, is YOLO it from the weird shot. Just kind of get a good angle, drop the bomb somewhere here, and walk down left. And honestly, this clip is very imprecise, so you can do that if you'd like, but I'm just letting you know that my setup is guaranteed, I guess is what I'm saying. So a couple things about the jump slash itself. It's not that tight. Like, the timing for walking up is not tight at all, but you want to be jump slashing pretty much as soon as the bomb explodes. The reason for that is because you still want to have invincibility when you do clip in. So that's why that's important. And the jump slash still carries you forward, right? So as long as you're in a good position, like right at the edge of the ramp there, as you saw in the video, then you're pretty much guaranteed to get there, even if you start walking up super late, right? So again, that's just all I wanted to say. Walking up is not hard, it's just jump slashing immediately after it explodes. And I also wanted to make clear that you absolutely need to jump slash cancel the Zora clip. So you need to spin your stick, otherwise again, you're not going to have enough time. So the pause itself is 2 frames, and if you get Link standing up, I always let a frame pass where I'm not holding shield, because that's a problem very often, that the very first frame you clip in, Link still has his shield out in front of him, right? So he's not, like, he can't open the chest because of that. But then you just buffer one more frame and you're good. On weird frames where you get Link like crouched down or just in like a weird looking position, you can open the chest instantly as long as you're, you know, lined up with it. There's also 2 different ways that people do this pause. I personally use my right hand, so I hold R&B all the way until I know I can pause. And I also kind of slide my finger over to pause, so it's not as awkward. A lot of people prefer spinning the stick quickly and then using their left hand to pause. I just find switching the left hand kind of awkward, but you can do that because you don't need to... you let go of target immediately as soon as you jump slash and you're good. So for a lot of people, left hand is more comfortable, but just try it out. So my final note is that if you end up pausing early or late, whichever of the two, most of the time you're going to want to bail out. The safe way to do that is just to hold shield, and that should prevent any mishaps with the fire. A lot of people are really afraid of getting burned by the fire because you would void out and you'd go all the way to the beginning of Graveyard again. Kind of an annoying time loss. And it is a small risk. Only way it could really happen, as long as you know what you're doing, like I said, holding shield, like if you're gonna bail out, right? Only way it can really happen is if you try to go for a frame where you're not facing the chest. So again, that's why part of why my setup is important, I think. If you do end up pausing early, I wanted to point this out, you can try to buffer in a quick spin. And the way you go about that is, I try to spin the stick faster, and you buffer 2 frames at a time instead of 1. Because if you buffer 1 frame, it doesn't work. Like, it needs 2 control stick inputs, right? So you try to buffer 2 frames between pauses. And you can save it that way, but it's just kind of... it can cost you a lot of time to try to do it, and then you end up not getting it anyways. So the second strat involves doing a second frame weird shot in a relatively precise position over here, and then also kind of a complicated hook shot into the chest. Reminder that second frame weird shots are easy to crash on English because any frame after the second frame crashes, so just keep that in mind. So what I do is I backwalk off the side here, and I want to have Link's left foot close to that line. Either on the line or to the right of it a little is fine. Like, I know, for example, this for sure works. And then what I do is I shield drop a bomb, turn left, and then do a third frame weird shot. Something that's important is waiting all the way to the third frame of explosion to buffer your hook shot, which is this frame. The reason for that is that you're gonna pass the same number of frames, right? But by doing it later in the explosion, you get more of the recoil and you get pushed backwards further. And that way, that's kind of what we want to achieve. We want to be further backwards just to make the trick more lenient from now on. And then once you get it, you're gonna come over here, and the shot is not super precise. You kind of want an angle like this. It's like a little bit further from parallel, right? So like this is parallel with the chest pretty much. You want to get pretty tucked under it, but not super far. And you also want to aim kind of low. Not the lowest you can go, but like below the, below the keyhole. Now from here you need to nail an A press, and you can either try to like mash it, which is what I do, or a lot of people try to time it and also time start at the same time, because you can input start for 1 frame when you are standing in front of the chest. So try both ways, see what works for you. The final method I'm going to talk about is hook shot only, so it doesn't require bombs or Zora, which is pretty cool. It does require 2 like frame perfect inputs, and the visual cue is kind of like weird, and I'll show you what I mean. So after you get Captain Sat, you're going to do an equip here. You're going to leave Zora and equip Goron and Ocarina. If you didn't equip Zora because you did a different method, you could just equip it now, I guess. And then we're going to sort to the swamp, which is a kind of graveyard, which is where you are. So yeah, that's really it. So once you soar here, you're just going to transform into Zora immediately and roll down left and then leftish like that. I do 3 rolls. And then let the fins go, transform in the Goron, and roll forward. And that should kill the Octo. If you use the bow, you can just snipe him from far away. And then here, we're just going to roll through the poison water. So just make sure your health is good. If not, there's a fairy right next to the owl. So you can just grab that fairy and do it that way. Takes 2 hearts and a quarter to get here most of the time, and Zora would also help you with climbing the ledge. So I'll just show you what that movement looks like. So once you get through that stretch, just get into the palace, stay as Zora. You're gonna have a little cutscene here, obviously, and then the easiest way to do this, and the reason why I tell you to stay Zora, you can just do a Zora clip into the palace. And what you do is you roll off this platform, and that's pretty much the perfect distance for you to quick draw your fins, right? So quick draw, walk forward, jump slash, and just do it. And it's perfect, and the angle is really non-precise. The alternative is to do the equip that I'm about to do here earlier and talk to the guards as Deku, because that's just, that's just free. So what you do is take off Zora and then equip Deku and Princess, which is going to be one of your bottled items. And don't turn Goron here, turn Deku, so that the guards don't catch you when you go in. And dump the Princess in the podium. So once you get through that cutscene, you can just turn Goron and leave. Don't talk to him, preferably. And here we're gonna equip bombs and hookshot, and we're gonna do a fun little trick to get past the Octo and all the nasty stuff in the swamp. First we're gonna do Front Palace, which you're probably familiar if you've done old school SRM or just the old school route as well. You're gonna pull the bomb as you're walking through this tunnel, right? You get ISG from that side, and you pull the bomb as you're walking through this tunnel, and you're gonna get to this corner in the garden. I'll just show you right now without the bomb. It's this corner. You want to stand right on the edge of this corner, and you're gonna kind of turn up right-ish to do it, right? And then immediately once you get there, tap down, backflip, and that's a straight line to get all the way up. If you're not in a rush at all, you can just come stand at the spot to begin with and get ISG right here and just take it slow, you know? Like, you can wait like a platform cycle, for example, and that doesn't take that long, I guess. Also gotta shield these nuts because this guy is getting aggressive. Anyways, once you do get onto the platform, you're gonna cancel ISG, and then you're gonna roll onto this thing. It's actually much easier than it looks. It's almost hard not to. And then jumping down here, there's a good chance that that guard will be there. So you can either wait for him if you're really scared, or if you stick to the left-hand side, he won't see you. And I just kind of make sure that I don't roll off at a too crazy of an angle, and that I hold left after I fall down, because that also curves your fall. So the first thing you're gonna do here is grab the heart piece, because you're gonna have shitty health from the swamp. Then come to this corner here, pull out hook shot, hold right, and then let go of everything and hold up. And all you're doing there is hook shot clipping, because the torch has hook shot texture, or like hook shot collision. I'm sorry. Anyways, just gonna walk around this corner here, and then the entrance is right there. The reason we need this unloaded is so we dodge the Octo. It's a pretty wide entrance, like anywhere around here is gonna climb. And then just go in. So here you're just gonna equip Deku and leave Goron equipped. You don't really need any other item, but if you want, you can. There's a switch at the end you can hit, and you can have bombs or light arrows if you want, but light arrows is a slow equip because of the animation. So I have a few things I want to talk about just before I get into it. Number one, if you're new to the game or you otherwise never really play this that much, just memorize like the route before you do any of the actual tricks, just because it's kind of a long like section with a lot of hallways. Number two, don't fall. If you fall, you get all the way back in the beginning, and that's a big time loss. And then number three, a lot of this is just minor movement stuff and reacting to things that happen, because no Butler race ever goes like the same way every single time. So you just have to practice this a lot if you really want to get like nitty-gritty good at it. Alright, so here we go. Right off the bat, there's a little bit of movement that I do. What I usually do to get past the Butler here, because otherwise you can't get around that corner quickly, I hold up, and then once I see Link walking, I quickly switch to upright and I curl. And it tends to work every time that I get past him like that. And that's just the main important thing, because otherwise you get kind of stuck behind him in this like tight corner section. But yeah, you go left, and then here, don't roll. If you fall in that water, you do void, so I'll just show that. Any of those water pits void, so it's not safe to roll there. And here there's a little bit of movement. You basically gotta roll off this edge as straight as possible, and you can get over that water pit. That one doesn't void you out though, so you're good there. And then you're gonna do that little zigzag turn Deku here to get across this water. You can see the beginning is very water themed, and then there's another zigzag and you head left. Now here, it's very important to stay to the right of the Butler, because if you stay to the left, he can push you off the platform if you get stuck like under him. And then here you're gonna do a couple jumps as human. You're just gonna roll jump onto those platforms. And you just kind of have to guess the camera angle here, but the one after the first one, like the two after the first one, are just up left pretty much. And then put on Goron again. Now here you can get spikes if you want, and I actually did there. I did not think I was gonna get those, but it's not that fast at all. Like, it saves like maybe 2 seconds, and then that's how you get across the water as Deku there. I'll show a better example. And then here you're just gonna hook around to the right and then choose the left path again. And this is where we set up for our spikes for the flame rune. If you do it correctly. I did not do it correctly there, but I tried. I just bonked into the thing. So now, once you take a turn here, most people crouch. You don't actually need to crouch, it's just we're waiting for this rock, and that's the fastest way to stop. And then here, once again, you're going to choose left. And this time, you're just going to hook around to right. And this is like the last puzzle here. You can do this with Deku Bubbles, or you can do it with bombs, or light arrows, whatever you want. I'll show you the timing for using a bomb. Just going to do 3. Throw it on the third one. Should hit it every time. Like third, either blue or red flash. So anyways, once you hit the switch, all you gotta do is jump as human. Don't know why I spin there. But you just jump as human across these. And these last two you can actually roll as Goron. It's not 100% safe, but it's like 90% safe. As long as you take a straight angle, you're fine. So yeah, that's it. That's all. That's the end of the Butler race. And then here, the main thing is you'll see as he's approaching here, do not crouch before he lands. What I like to do is I crouch close to him and I mash A so I can talk to him as soon as possible. But if you crouch too early, he does weird things. On JP, I know that he clips through the floor. On English, I believe that he can crush you. So just don't do it. Give it a hot sec, wait until he lands, then do it. By the way, it should have turned night 3 either before this race or during the race. Ideally, you want it to turn during the race because you don't get a cutscene inside of here. But yeah, just keep that in mind. In case you go like miraculously fast, I don't think it's even possible, but if you do, you would have to play one more Sun song so that you can give the mail to Postman. So once you get Mask of Sense here, you're gonna equip Mail, which I didn't have once again. And Ocarina, you can leave Goron, and then here you're going to select Woodfall, and that goes to Clocktown. All right, once you're here, you're gonna head to Postman. I'm just gonna give him the letter. He's having a nervous breakdown over here. Don't need to turn human for this. Preferably don't bonk into the trash can. And then here, as soon as we exit it, there's 2 ways to go about it, and I'll just explain what I mean before we do it. We're gonna play Sun Song so that we're able to do all the last stuff in the cycle. And you can either have a really lenient Sun Song here and play an extra Sun Song for Couples Mask, or you can time it really tightly here and then not have to play the second one. The reason for that is that Cafe doesn't arrive for the Couples Mask cutscene until there's an hour and 30 left on the clock, but Postman will always leave with an hour, like an hour on the dot. He leaves, and that means that you can't get Postman's hat. So you only really have that half hour of in-game time to play with, and combined with the fact that the in-game time that you have here can vary a lot, it just makes this really complicated because you can't have a walking setup. You just have to guess. So optimizing the Sun Song is hard. I don't recommend it for beginner players. I'm gonna show it right now, but then I'm gonna also, I'm gonna have the rest of the run be the easy strat with 2 Sun Songs. If you don't care about saving those extra like 10-15 seconds, then all you have to worry about is make it past midnight. So you're gonna do exactly the same thing. You're just gonna come to this corner here, make sure you're pretty close to the loading zone, and as soon as it's midnight, just walk in, man. And you can either look at the numbers themselves, or you can just look for the bottom timer to show up. That timer starts showing up for the final 6 hours. As you can tell, my timer is frozen. That's just because I'm using cheats and I want to have enough time to explain everything. But ideally, you would have less of an hour pass during the segment until you get to Postman's Hat. So it's really not a big deal, especially if you're doing the non-risky Sun Song. Anyways, I'm gonna roll over here, past this rock, past this gossip. Right around here, you'll see Mr. Chimera. Just chilling right there. And you just take the mask off, climb as human, and then roll off here. You would just play Song of Healing to him, but what we're actually going to try to do is pause on the 1 frame that we have between Song of Healing and his cutscene starting. And it's the same as TCS, if you're familiar with TCS. We're just going to do a pause in there and drink Chateau, and that saves like 10 seconds. You don't need to go for it if you don't want to. The visual cue I use, it's right after the text box for Song of Healing disappears. And what I look at is the notes themselves, because the notes disappear a frame before the text box. And that just works out for me, like for my timing, and I feel like for most people's timing. If you actually look at the text box itself or some of the text that's a frame later, that's like too quick for me. I end up going late. So once you get this in the real run scenario, you would have Chateau, of course. And then what you would do is you would equip it normally, and then you would also equip swap it over light arrows. And what we're going to do is drink the real Chateau during this cutscene. That's the time save that we get. The reason we're drinking real Chateau, obviously we don't need it, it's just that we're trying to keep this Chateau equipped swapped in our C items for the next cycle after we play Song of Time. And for some reason that only works if you drink the real thing. So that's why we do it. It is very important that you do not drink fake Chateau, because we are going to need light arrows at some point next cycle. So do not mix this up. It's very important. And in case you miss the pause, you can just do the exact same equip. You're just going to have to drink Chateau outside of the cutscene, and you're not going to get that time save. So yeah, just unpause, mash your button for Rio Chateau, and then you're going to equip right after this cutscene as well. So just mash through this little bit of text here, and then once you gain control, equip bombs, and just leave Goron equipped. And obviously, Chateau needs to be equipped up until the point that we use it, which is going to be in Curiosity Shop. So that's all the way through the end of the cycle. Do not unequip it. Again, this is one of those things. If you unequip it, you're not going to be able to re-equip it. So just keep that in mind. So once you're done with that, just hold right. You're going to roll off here. Usually get spikes before this ramp, but you don't want to like try to turn. You want to try to bonk onto this thing at a good angle, because it's just kind of an awkward movement. If you don't like doing it, you can just not get spikes on purpose. Just go up this ramp and into North Clocktown. So what I do for this movement is I hold down right and I start rolling, and I just get to this little piece of the ramp here. We're gonna go into the Gray Fairy, and we are going to get Gray Fairy Mask, but we're gonna do so with a cutscene skip. So this has a really easy setup. You just come to this column right here, target it, she'll turn up left. That's all it is. And then The trick itself, you're gonna roll clip into that corner, which is it's the same thing as a Hess, except you hold cardinal direction after you do the roll, so it has nothing to do with VSS per se. You're gonna roll with fast timing. You're gonna hold down, and then Link's gonna clip, and then you're gonna let go of down and start holding right and jump slash pretty much immediately. The way I think of it, I hold down, I let go once I see Link clip, and then I kind of have an innate timing for just like holding right jump slash kind of in a fluid motion, and that's how I made it consistent for myself. Most of the time when people fail this trick, it means that they're jump slashing too late. And the way that you can tell is if your jump slash is starting after Link has gone off screen. You want the jump slash to be like I said, on the later side, but you don't want it to be after Link disappears. If that's the case, you're almost always going to fail it. And then another mistake people do is they switch from down to right like almost immediately, right? So they start holding right too early, and that can also mess it up. Just make sure that there's a little bit of a gap between those two inputs. So once you get this trick, you're gonna pause, and you can scroll over here and check if you got the mask if you're the paranoid type, but you're just gonna equip Ocarina over bombs. So yeah, turn Goron, get out of here, and we're gonna go get Postman's Hat and then Couple's Mask shortly. And those two are just really simple. Just roll over here, hold down, and get to our main man, the Postman. Then we're just gonna go to the top floor of the inn. If I can stop bonking onto stuff. Like that. And again, if you went for the safe strat, you're just gonna play Sun Song on extra time here. Once you do get Couple's Mask here, all you're gonna do is play Song of Time. You did not need to reset your Wii, because now the long cutscene is gone, so yeah, it's actually shorter to not reset. So once you do this, you're gonna just mash to take off Goron Mask. I just crouch and hold the direction there to make sure that the cutscene is shorter. And then there is a little bit of a technical section here with Sun Song. We want to enter North Clocktown at a very specific time on the clock, so we're right there for Blast Mask. This is a very consistent setup, but you can YOLO entering the loading zone if you want to save the like 5 seconds that it saves. It's up to you. But yeah, play Sun Song here, and then what you're gonna do is slash your sword. I just mash B out of this. Side hop left 4 times and start back walking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And you're gonna keep back walking all the way to the wall, and then target the wall. 2 side hops left, targeted slash, shield turn right. And if you do that quickly enough, especially that last bit after the first Sun Song, right? Because in-game time is obviously important. So once you do that bit, you're set up so that you're just going to play Sun Song and hold up. That's all you got to do. And you're going to enter at the perfect time. Again, just reiterating that it's important to do this movement quickly and that the slash needs to be targeted. If the slash is not targeted, you're going to enter a little bit early, which is honestly better than entering late. So yeah, if you enter early, just wait. If you enter late, just play Song of Time again, and you have as many shots as you want at this. And you'll notice the right timing here if you get in like pretty much right at 12:15. And that's perfect. Just gonna mash a little bit of text here and make sure that Sakon doesn't get away with his crimes. And just wait this out. So yeah, now we're going to the bar. Cause you know, after a run like this, you need a drink. So yeah, come over here, unequip Goron, and then you're gonna equip Zora and Romani Mask, being very careful not to equip over Chateau once again. Put on your little cow mask, go in, and you're gonna play all the songs. This is like the most exciting part of the run right here. Human stands in the middle. I have not played these songs in a little while, so forgive me for doing them slow. But you're gonna do Human and Zora, and then after that equip Goron and Deku, and do those. So after all that, we are going to go to the Curiosity Shop, and that is in fact the last place that we need to visit this cycle. This is quite a short cycle. What we're doing in there is very precise and special. We're going to be deleting a few items that we grabbed from SRM earlier. That I just entered a trading post, didn't I? Alright, so once we have entered the correct door, we're going to be doing a few important things here. We're going to be duping over Goron, we're going to be duping over Keg, and then we're going to equip light arrows and just sell Chateau normally. All of those things are important to make the route work. This part is absolutely crucial. You need to know this trick pretty well, and you need to get used to your equips here. There's two reasons for it. Number one, if you accidentally sell Chateau early, like before you dupe over Goron and Keg, the backup is really bad, because not only are you gonna have to grab the fish and then do it with the fish, you can grab a fish in the trading post, which is the place I went in. You're going to lose light arrows, so you're gonna have to, when you go to Stone Tower, you're probably gonna have to grab vanilla light arrows, or you're gonna have to SRM it again. I don't know which one would be faster. And then on top of that, you're relying on having 500 rupees at the end of the cycle so you can buy all Knight's Mask. And that'll take a little while longer too. You're just going to have to dupe fish several times over. Needless to say, it's one of the most important sections to nail in the run. And I'll spell it out for you really well. But first, before I get into this specific Curiosity dupe, I'm going to explain more like the general principle of it. So the way Curiosity Shop dupe works is that the game writes an empty bottle to whatever slot that you're selling, right? So I'm pressing fish here. The game, as soon as I say I'll take it, is going to write an empty bottle to that slot. The trick is we have a 2-frame window here to be able to pause. You can either mash pause or you can time it. I like to time it. The timing is very similar to ISG, I tend to think. So if you're familiar with that, just you use that as a reference, I guess. And then the other thing that's really, really important that I almost failed to mention is that you want to be holding shield here. If you do not hold shield, your 2-frame window turns into a 1-frame window, and you don't want that to happen. So yeah, hold shield, press A, and press pause. And that's what it looks like right there. And now we can equip whatever we want over C down, right? Which is the slot that we gave away. So in theory, you can dupe over anything you want. And I'll just demonstrate that really quickly. As you see now, my Gray Fairy Sword turned into a bottle. The thing that makes this particular Curiosity Shop dupe different from any other is that we are using an equip swapped item that we no longer have in our inventory. What this changes, first of all, you don't get second chances, but the important thing is you cannot equip directly over it. because then you're not going to have access to it anymore. You're not going to be able to sell it again, right? The way you avoid that is that whatever item you want to dupe over, you make sure that it's equipped in another slot first. And then from there, you switch it onto the Chateau slot. And that'll make the game put Chateau, you know, like it'll just switch the two items, and that'll keep Chateau on one of your C items at all times, no matter what. So from the top, I'm going to explain everything very carefully. Make sure you take off Goron there to talk to him. He doesn't like masks. Then press your Chateau button wherever it is. Do the trick. And then now, one of the items you want to dupe over is Goron. You already have Goron equipped, so this is fine. And just put Goron on X, right? Which is where I had my Chateau. And that's one of them. So now, press Chateau again. Do it again. And then now, you need to equip Keg, but you're going to put Keg on a different slot, right? So let's put Keg on Z first, then on Y. And now it's going to dupe over Keg. On top of that, I'm going to equip Light Arrows on whatever spot is not Keg or Chateau. So in my case, it's X, right? And you don't need to worry here because Light Arrow actually equips the bow slot. So you're not getting rid of your Chateau. And then that's going to dupe over Keg. And then now you don't actually need to do the pause at all. Just give him Chateau and sell it. That's all you got to do. And as long as you have Light Arrows equipped, you're safe. So here, just back out of his text, right? Say no, and you're going to equip Ocarina and Bombs. Now, you were being really careful with not equipping over Chateau earlier. Now you're going to be really careful over not equipping over Light Arrows, right? And here's the fun part. You're going to play Sun Song a total of 4 times. You're going to make it knife free. So once that's done, you're going to talk to our buddy boy here. Just make sure to press A for that. I just messed it up. Just make sure you press A right here. And then hold right. So press A on the first one. And then hold right. And you're going to buy All Knight's Mask. And after that, all you got to do is play Song of Time. Tell him no. That's it. So on this reset, we're finally going to go to Stone Tower. Pause here. Select Goron Village as your map point. And soar away. So once you get here, you're going to grab pretty much every drop. You get bombs, magic, and arrows. Don't need the fairy over there. And then come and step on this switch here. Is the switch on the right hand side. And we're going to do bomb time stop again. I get a C-up angle here. I don't think you necessarily need to C-up, but I just, this is the easiest way for me. Just C-up anywhere along this block here, preferably on the inner edge. Even like this right here would be fine. Just make sure like a decent enough angle like that, turn around, pull a bomb, and bomb time stop. And the trick is just to backwalk pretty late. The later you backwalk, the later you can pause, right? Because once you're not stepping on that switch anymore, it's obviously gonna, you know, play the cutscene of the block coming back at some point. And obviously you don't want that to happen. So you can either backwalk super late to where you can get a 1 pause, or you want to backwalk decently late and buffer your way there. Just like you would buffer HMS, right? It's the same principle. So just get to your frame like that. Time stop and hold down. Roll off the ledge and then C up to cancel it so you get all the way across. And then here, because we already have light arrows, we can just invert the tower and all you're gonna do is bow extension. So like that. And then the aim, I aim in the middle of this block right here. So if you look at that block, right, I get my horizontal axis from looking at the block itself. And then my height, I make sure that my magic meter is around where the line on that switch is, and that hits it every time. So once you're here, we're gonna roll across and get an inverted stone tower. Obviously, the only reason we're going in is to get Giant's Mask. We don't actually need to beat the temple. Right here, you're gonna roll forward like 4 times, and then you can jump this gap right here if you'd like. This movement can be a little finicky. It's worth practicing. It's something that took me a good while to get used to. And then in this room, there's several ways to go about this room. I'm going to show the fastest way first, and then I'm going to show a backup that doesn't use any explosives. So for the optimized strat, you're going to be roll clipping right into this corner right here. It's the same thing that we did in the fairy fountain, except instead of using down, we're using diagonals for both like the walking angle and the roll clip angle. And right after you roll clip, you're actually gonna target and side hop so that you get into a vent, and from there you can use another bomb just to recoil yourself off of the vent and get onto the bridge. I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. So just drop the bomb right here, hold up left, roll, hold down right, and that's what happens right there. And as soon as you clip, I usually target, wait for Link to land, right? And then you're going to immediately side hop right, pull a bomb. Like that. Without pulling that extra one. And then once it's about to explode, shield it, wait like a beat, and start holding left. The timing for holding left there is very, very lenient. The part of the trick that really sucks is the block lip itself, especially if you have crappy diagonals. And that side hop there can be a little tricky, like you saw. Sometimes it seems like it drops the input, or I missed the input or something. But yeah, otherwise it's fairly straightforward. The slow way to go about this room is to actually hit this block with light arrows, and you can do this kind of quickly by like when you enter, you can just kind of like walk, target, and hold like light arrows at the same time, right? So just like if you walk there, it cuts a little bit of time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, hit that block with light arrows and then come over here, and what you can do, I target this wall pretty much right on this dot. Backflip, side hop, and then from there you're gonna fall right here, side hop once more, and press jump slash. And that is the most baby strat you ever heard of for getting on top of this bridge. So once you're here, is just a recoil flip to that other bridge over there, and you can see up this if you really want, like if you're a scaredy cat, I guess. But what most people do, and this is like a really natural way to go about it, you just walk on the right side of this switch, right? And then after you get past that, you just kind of switch to up left. And that gives you like pretty much the perfect angle to recoil onto the bridge. Not crazy. It's not a crazy precise recoil flip either. You want to be pretty close to the ledge, obviously, but you don't want to be super close to the edge. And the reason for that is because that hand can actually grab you. I was starting to fall off there, but you do not need to fall off for the hand to catch you. And obviously that would screw up the recoil flip. So this is what it ends up looking like in practice. I pull the bomb as soon as I see the switch there. And just go like that. And like I said, not a crazy precise recoil flip. And as soon as you land here, this Igor is going to start coming at you. So you want to hit him straight away pretty much. So the way you want to handle this Igor is that you want to shoot him with light arrows first, and then hit him with the bomb. If you do it that way, you can recoil flip off of the bomb that you used, and that'll be slightly faster. With using light arrows, it's important to note that there's these little rocks that he shoots out when you bait him, and I'll show you what I mean. And you can kind of dodge those just by holding right. So like bait him in one position and then walk further to another position. That tends to help a lot. And then on top of that, just be mindful of not walking into his hands, because if you walk into his hands, a lot of weird things can happen. You can straight up kill him, and if he hits you with his hands, he can still like attack you even though he has 0 health. We call it zombie Igor. It's a very weird thing. But yeah, just don't walk near his sides, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So once you get Giant's Mask from this chest, you're just gonna Song of Time. And it's funny that the fastest way to actually go about it, by like a margin, is to Ocarina Dive off this ledge and then activate storage and reset. It's not fast by much. I'm not sure what the timing on it is, but if you don't want to worry about it, you can just play Song of Time normally and not reset at all. This is one of the weirdest ledges in the game. It's the only ledge I know of that you can just like walk into it and do a slash with good timing and then mash Ocarina and you'll get the Ocarina Dive pretty consistently. And I'll show you what that looks like. So once you're back here, you're gonna pause and select Deku Palace. That's where we're soaring next, which corresponds to Mountain Village. Once you get here, you're gonna walk forward and grab this bomb drop right here, because we need it for a trick coming up. We're gonna do a seam walk up the mountain to go get the real Goron Mask. You're gonna target this wall and shield turn left, and you're gonna make your way to the seam pretty much. And you want it to look exactly like that. You want Link's right foot to disappear, but you don't want to be so far right that he's like riding up the mountain like that. So see how his right foot looks kind of weird there? That can make the trick fail. So just make sure that's not happening. Don't go too far. Just kind of tuck yourself into this corner. Shield turn down, and then ESS left 1 frame, like that. So that's what it looks like. ISG, and then shield drop this bomb, right? So target and shield drop it, and then you can just start walking up the seam. What I look for here, I slow down a little bit once I get closer to this darker texture on the left hand side, and then I scooch my way over until I see those beams right there. So see, if you look at the very background, there's this textured part of the house, right? That's what I look for. Once I start seeing that, I know I'm in the right position. And then here, 2 ESS right, like that. And you're gonna do tapped side hops all the way up the mountain. So it's gonna look like this. And the tapped side hop part is very important. If you're holding left in any way as you're side hopping up, and so like if you land and you're holding left, you're gonna fall off. So just make sure you're not doing that. And once you clear that face of the mountain, right? Once you get into this like smaller slope, shield turn up left and side hop all the way up. Notice that I'm going further back into the mountain a little. So before I side hop off the mountain, I like to walk forward just a tad. That not only guarantees that I'm closer to where I want to land, but also I'm side hopping off from like a higher, from like higher up, so it's more lenient. And then yeah, side hop, and I hold up. That makes it even more lenient. So like if you're a little bit too far back, holding up can curve Link just enough to get him in, if that makes any sense. The second method is not really a method, it's the vanilla way to go about it. So if you want to be a little baby, I'll show you how that works. You're gonna equip Deku and Lens, spin around these platforms here, and then once you get here, start climbing up. And you can mash Lens if you like, you can not mash Lens, it's up to you. You should have the magic to go about this, but if not, you might want to mash it. Yeah, just to explain, mashing Lens makes it so that it doesn't use any magic. And you're gonna follow right hand side path, then left hand side path, and finally right side again. And that's how you get up. Just like that. So once you get in here, whichever way you go up, just make sure that you have both Lens and Ocarina equipped in any particular slot. And then you're gonna activate Lens. And I make sure that I'm like pretty far into this green texture. I kind of look at that spike on the left, because otherwise this is not gonna activate Darmani. But yeah, get close to him, play Song of Healing, and you're gonna watch a little cutscene. So once you get past this cutscene, you're gonna pause, and you're going to equip Goron, leave Ocarina, and get your keg bottle. We're gonna do one of the coolest tricks in the run here. Roll to this backside and pull the grave out. What we're doing is very simple. We're catching hot spring water on our keg bottle. And what this does is a trick called Bottle Adventure. Because of the way hot spring water works, it writes certain bytes into a specific areas of memory. And using a bottle that's not an intended bottle by the game makes it so it writes into areas of memory you shouldn't be writing on. What Keg Bottle BA does is it puts a sirloin over Link's head. And that's what we're going to use to get Dongero's mask, which is right outside. Just remember before you get out to transform back into human Link, it's just easier to handle movement that way. So yeah, I just get close to here, turn human. And as you can see, now I have a sirloin. Now what I do is I start walking up as soon as I get out of there. And I kind of aim right between those two peaks. If you look at the horizon right there, I'll walk right a little bit. You see there's like two different peaks to my left, right? I want to aim in between them. And if you do that correctly, you're going to fall right on top of the platform that's down there. And that just makes sure your sirloin doesn't get in the water, which is important. So this is what it would look like that. Not a very precise angle, and just hold it up all the way. And you should actually target there once you fall onto that thing, just to make sure that it just gives you a quicker animation when you fall down. And then once you're here, back walk. And you'll pretty much get there. Mash this little dialogue, throw it, and now he's so happy. He was starving, man. I mean, no Goron deserves to starve. So, yep, that's Dongero's mask. So once you're done with that, you can soar away immediately if you like, but I always go through the trouble of grabbing this extra bomb drop here. You can make it with the bombs you have, it's just the perfect count. You don't really want to have to rely on that. Besides, it's a pretty quick drop. There's no real reason not to go for it. Anyways, you're going to select the kind of graveyard, and that's going to take us to the Swamp Owl. So once you land here, you're just going to hold right and roll real quick to grab that stick. Normally you get a little cutscene because you wouldn't have a stick. But anyways, once you do that, you're going to play Sun Song one final time. This is not only going to allow us to get into the spider house, but it's also going to set up the moon warp we're going to do. And then here, equip Zora and stick that you just grabbed. And then you're going to do the exact same thing we did earlier. You're just going to kill this Octo right here. And we'll make our way to the spider house. Now here is the RNG ledge, but luckily it's not RNG because we have Zora. So Zora always climbs that. But if you were to turn human and try to climb that ledge, it's kind of finicky. Kinda is putting it lightly. Anyways, get your stick, open it up, and then go in. So the first thing you're gonna do when you go in is pause and equip 3 different bottles, which they should all be available by now. Come over here and grab yourself 2 sets of bugs, like that. And I'm just gonna take you through the whole house kind of slowly. If you're curious about like finer details, I would definitely recommend watching a speedrun of this. Not only because it's cool, but it'll definitely help you see the minor things, I guess is what I'm saying. So first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna come over here and dump some bugs on this hole. That's the first thing. And then you're gonna head to the back side after you kill this spider. And for most of these, we're gonna be doing quick spins. So definitely get your quick spin practice in if it's not something you're used to. That door right there is the one we're heading towards. And here I equip, yes, so leave an empty bottle equip, and then equip your hook shot and equip your great fairy sword, because that just helps do the house faster. Then here, aim up. You're gonna shoot that first beehive, and then instead of shooting the spider that just fell, shoot that one, because you gotta wait until it stops jumping around to shoot the one that's on the floor now. Anyways, get those two, get this guy right here, and then shoot this box. That's what you're gonna do. Don't climb the box, hopefully. And then this is one of the most annoying parts, making this jump right here. It's just kind of a finicky angle, man. You just have to get used to it. And then holding right in particular after you jump off really helps me. But also not jumping at too crazy of an angle, because if you do that, then he's not going to grab the ledge. So I'm just going to go into this room and like explain it a little bit before I actually do the room. There's 3 spiders at the top of this tree, which you can get them down by bonking it. They fall in random locations around this room. When they fall down, you need to pretty much memorize where they went, or just kind of keep an eye out for the general direction so you know where to look for. And then on this beehive right here, there's also a scutula, and there's 2 more on the ground. One of them moves around just like in front of this doorway at all times, like it's just pacing back and forth between those 2 torches. And then the other one just sits right here. She just lives there. So that's 6 total. With the 4 you already grabbed, you should be leaving this room with 10 always. So the best way to go about this is to shoot the beehive one first, because that gives you a good angle for bonking into the tree. So you can just exit out a hookshot there, side hop, and roll bonk into the tree. Believe it or not, it's kind of hard to do. And then grab these bugs that are on the foot of the gossip stone as well. That's important. And just go around the room, man. I always come to this first one that I know is here, and I just try my best, if I'm being honest. The other stationary one will be here, of course, because that's the beehive one. And then find your way around the rest of them. And usually by the time I make it to this guy, he's either walking back or he's on the left hand side. So like middle left is where I look for him. I don't tend to look for him on the right side. Anyways, once you exit, you're gonna roll forward and then try to hit this guy pretty quickly. You're just trying to hit him before he goes like all the way down, you know, because that's kind of an annoying cycle to lose. And then once you get the token, I aim left just a little, and that's just so I aim my jump. So I use the hook shot to aim my jump instead of like C up or something, right? And it's just a nice way to go about it. Tap left, get this guy really quick, and then roll down right here, and you're gonna get that beehive and this beehive. And if you're at a good distance from the ledge here, which I tend to be, all I need to do is target, dry roll, and then hold A, and he'll fall off the ledge perfectly like that. You just want to get onto this area so you can kill that guy. And then roll into this vase, and you're gonna do that once more with feeling on this one. This is one of the cooler parts, especially with Great Fairy Sword. It's pretty easy. You can just quick spin in the middle of all of them and get all 4. And these pots all have hearts if you need them. So yeah, that's that room. In here, I'm gonna just whack this guy really quick and come to the hole. Dump bugs. By the time you get around to killing this guy right here, the spider that's in the water should be making her way back, and there she is. So yeah, just watch out. Like, this spider is always walking from this left-hand side around this time. And then from there, there's one more in this pot. Just quick spin it. And we're getting into the last pair of rooms now. You're gonna bonk into the second thing right there, and then instead of killing that spider immediately, I go for the one on the wall, because she starts over here, but she starts walking left pretty quickly, so that's just faster for me. And then kill that guy, come over here, bonk this, Now, there is a little bit of a trick you can do if you get a good cycle in this room, aka if you go fast or if you go super slow. What you can do, and I'll show you, is you can jump onto this thing and then kill that spider. If she's at the tippity top there, that's where you want her to be. You want her to be like over here, so you can jump in safely and then kill her. And then from there, you can jump off. And yeah, I failed the jump slash timing there because I had Great Fairy Sword out, but that's what you can do. The alternative, which is simple and does not lose that much time at all, you just hookshot the torch. So like you would kill that spider right here and then just hookshot that torch. Pretty much every time you hookshot that torch though, the spider on the wall is going to hit you. So I guess just keep that in mind if your health is low. Come over here, this is the last room. Gonna roll left, I quick spin this wall because there's a spider right there. And then hookshot that guy. Boom. And the very last one is across this gap. Just make sure you roll jump. And make it across. And for our equips here, it's going to be... I have no clue. Let me read it. It's Bugs, Goron, and Zora. So there you go. And that's the last spider. So once you get this guy, you're home free, and all you need to do is roll to the left-hand side here, and you're really close to the exit. Obviously, talk to the guy we just saved. Get Mask of Truth. I didn't get it there because I probably already have it in my inventory. So once you leave, it's moon warp time. And just gonna make our way to the palace. Real quick. Useless spikes. Love it. Great movement. Love it. Gonna do the exact same thing we did before. Clip in with Zora. And then here. Just gonna go through the hip manipulation for this wrong warp. I'll just go through the whole thing again. It's pretty quick. By the way, I might as well just show this now. There's a billion different ways you can get past these guys. You can use a super slide if you want. Most people use a recoil flip if they're using a bomb. But also, literally, you can get your way onto this corner right here. Just kind of roll jump off that piece of the ledge right there. Get into this corner, and you're going to side hop and mash B. Or just side hop and press B really quickly to jump slash onto the fence. And then mash A and hold down to backflip. That's all you gotta do. Super easy. Requires no explosives. So just wanted to show that off if you need it. For this wrong warp, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go in like that. I tend to target that section of the wall just to get a straight angle. I just like it that way. And then once the room loads, what you're gonna do is hold down. I usually start backwalking a little. Hold down. Let go of target, and then charge a quick spin like that. You need to be able to see the blue on Link's sword, otherwise it's not going to work. And then as you're going through that loading zone, once you're going back in, you should see the screen freeze for just a frame. And that's how you can tell that you actually went through and then the other room unloaded. After that happens, I wait just a beat. I make sure I'm sticking to the right-hand side of the doorway, and I release, and that's gonna destroy that sign. You're just gonna do that twice pretty much. So both having the blue texture of the quick spin before you leave the right palace room and busting up that sign after the room unloads, both of them are really important, and you're just gonna do that twice. So go in again and do the exact same thing. And that's what I meant by the freeze frame there. So you see that there was just a little bit of a lag spike, and that's what you're looking for. So once you're done with that setup, you're gonna go in, and here we're gonna do a hover. So equip bombs, ocarina, and then stone mask. Stone Mask just comes in handy for this part in particular. You're gonna get ISG to just hover onto this thing. I just wanted to note that you don't want to put the bomb down so early that you're getting this camera angle. I don't know, some people do it that way. I like it consistent where the camera angle is already like, you know, like God's eye view type of thing. and then ISG, hover using up here, right? And then I just like turn around target, hold down rightish, and backflip, and that gets me onto this door frame every time, especially if I'm already in that, if I'm scooched on that corner right there. Anyways, once you get on top of this door frame, just crouch to cancel ISG, and then target the wall. You can start pulling a bomb already. Target the wall, turn, and with a swift recoil flip, you can make it up here. Now, there's several ways you can go about this super slide. I'll show you one quick setup and one slow setup. The slower way to go about it, I already put Stone Mask as soon as I get on top of here. Break this first pot. That's very important. So you grab that magic. Both breaking the pot and grabbing the magic are important. And then come over here. Do a full backflip, right? So hold down all the way and crouch. And then here you're gonna crouch stab holding right. But you don't want to hold right like super long and then crouch stab. You want it to be more of a quick thing, because otherwise Link goes too far to the left. Doesn't make the setup fail necessarily. It just makes it more it just makes it less like lenient, I guess. And then side hop left once, shield turn up left, and that should be a good angle for most people. If you have a bad diagonal, you can see up this angle and you can look for exactly what I'm showing you here. So notice, like, as you go left, there's like 2 dots, right? The bar before the second dot is what you want, and you can line up like either right on it or a little bit to the right. Works every time. Then once you're here, you're gonna shield drop a bomb and walk down right. And this is the part that's just kind of like guesstimating. You just have to kind of know. And what I look for is I look at the pot on the right hand side. I want to see, again, the white texture of the pot. In particular, if I can see like half of it, right? So like if I know it's a little bit more than half or half of it like that, I feel safe seeing that. And then if I start seeing that brown texture, that's when I start getting a little worried that I'm going too far to the right. Most of the time when I see that brown texture, it fails. So as far as bomb timing, what I look for is the red flash after the first like 3 slow flashes. There's like that middling flash before the fast ones. I wait for the red flash to end, right? The 4th red flash. I'll just show you real quick. Boom. Right there, right? So after that red flash ends and it goes to straight blue, that's when I side hop. And then I wait just like the tiniest amount of time after I side hop, and I mash roll, and that's always a good timing for me. You can play around with that timing a little bit if you'd like, in case you want to roll immediately, or you know, you want to try to roll a little earlier, a little later, whatever you want. If you're too far to the right, what's gonna happen is when you try to roll into that pot, you're just gonna get stuck on this like side of the wall here, and you're not gonna actually go into that hallway. In that case, you're gonna store a ground jump, so just like backflip or side hop to get rid of the ground jump, and then you can try again. Also, something that I wanted to mention is I'm wearing Stone Mask, as you can notice, and that's for that. The reason for it is that Deku right there. If I take off Deku Mask, he starts to see me and he starts shooting nuts. Now the catch is, if there is a nut loaded as you're going through the loading zone, then that's gonna screw up the heat manip. Luckily, because we have Stone Mask, you don't need to worry about that at all, and you also don't need to rush your setups at all. So you're in the clear. The quick setup is somewhat similar, except you're not breaking this pot right off the bat. So like once you land from your recoil flip, first of all, you're gonna shield turn down right. That's all you're gonna do, and you're gonna walk up leftish here. And what I look for, I look at Link's legs, and I want to see like Link's left foot start to freak out like that, right? you're basically gonna line it up to the very right hand side of the flower, basically where that pink petal is, right? This is a very, very good position. And then I would shield drop the bomb here and walk down rightish. I tend to think that with this strat, instead of the other, like the setup from the wall, I tend to walk more right than down. It's still down rightish, but it's more right than down, if that makes any sense. And then what I'm looking for, I actually look at my A button, because I do not want to see grab. You see how it says grab right there? Do not want to see that. And the way you avoid it is just by not being too far to the right. Now with this strat, 90% of the time, you are not going to have any issues with not breaking that pot, because the bomb is going to do that for you. And then on top of that, as you're super sliding away, you're also going to grab the magic. That's been the case for me a large majority of the time. Some runners do go out of their way to break the pot first and then drop the bomb, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. It's just one of those small things, you know, like how safe do you want to be? That's really the question you need to be asking yourself. And then if I didn't mention earlier, I did do an SRM tutorial that covers this quite in depth. If you're having issues with these setups in particular, I would look there. There's probably some more useful information. Alright, so once you're done with all of that, it gets easier, I promise. You're going to come to this corner of the wall here. And I just unglue myself from it a little, just to make sure that I'm not going to retarget it. Do 1, 2, 3 ESS right. If you don't suck at the game, you'll be able to do it. It's also important that you don't step too far left here, because otherwise you can target the sign, and that obviously screws you up. So again, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna backwalk, go into the other room. Just kind of an awkward angle to manage, but you'll do it. And then here, get into this corner and hold up right. And as long as you're doing that, press A and throw. That works every single time. Do a hover over this thing here. It's just a faster way, so you don't have to deal with the other guards. And then get right up in that guy's grill and get caught. And that's Bunny Hood, our last mask, which I already had in my inventory. So the reason this wrong warp is so useful is not only does it give us Bunny Hood, but once you play Sun Song, it's also going to take us to Goat Warp, obviously. And what I like to do, I'll just show you this first before I play Sun Song. We can fall. So where Link is standing in this room is where Link is going to end up standing in the room that he gets warped to. And what I do, I actually do have a little setup for this. I literally just crouch stab and do a full backflip once I get into this triangle. It's a very imprecise position. So like anywhere on this triangle, right? And you don't have to worry about like the backflip that much at all. It's just a silly little way to, you know, like have a consistent setup. And you have the time to do it because you need to play Sun Song no matter what. So it's just going to end up looking like this. I come to the corner, target, play Sun Song from here. And then single crouch stab, backflip. Every time. And like I said, that'll get us straight into a teleport, as you'll see. And from there we can do all the trials. Just gonna exit here on the left hand side. So in the moon, the kids are just kind of all spread around that tree. I'll show you what it looks like, and then you're gonna give him masks at the beginning and at the end of each trial, and I'll just show you how to beat each trial quickly. In all masks, of course, you do not grab the heart pieces, so it's a little bit different from 100%. People often ask if there is like a faster order in which you should be doing these trials, and there is, simply because of equips, like the way the equips work out. But it doesn't save like more than 10 seconds, you know, and it's not something I ever bothered learning, I guess is what I'm saying. If you're curious about this type of optimization, I would certainly ask in the Discord. Deku Trail is one of the harder ones, in fact, and pretty much just put on Deku right away, get onto this flower, and then you're just trying to make this platform cycle. It's not that hard to make, this one. Now here, get on this flower and wait. I wait until that corner is on that black texture. I'll circle that on post, and then immediately get onto this flower, shoot as quickly as you can, and land on this precisely in such a way that you can still shoot off before the spikes come around. And that's how you make the quick cycle here. As such. That's Deku Trial. So for Goron Trial, just put on the mask right away. Make sure you grab that magic there just in case you're a little low. And then I always target right around where this like black line is. It's not crazy precise, it's just a little bit precise. And then hold forward and roll forward and hold A. Good old do nothing and you win trial. Do make sure you're letting go of target though. And then here, I stop at these magic pots. Up the bridge. And then get yourself a neat angle here, take your time, and then as long as you start to roll before the bridge, you're guaranteed to make this jump every time. I know it looks a little scary, like you're not going to make spikes, but that is bona fide guaranteed every time, as long as you're not stepping on the bridge. There's also like a newer, faster strat that I don't think a lot of people are playing around with. It's still kind of undiscovered, but I'm just going to leave a clip of it here in case you want to mess with it. It's most definitely faster. Zora is another one that's really easy. You're gonna jump in and do left, right, left, right. And it's over. That was hard. The Twiml trial is the hardest trial in this part of the game. Use Grey Fairy Sword. You can also use Bunny Hood, though that's more optional more than anything, I guess. There's gonna be hearts here if you need them, and magic over here if you need that. You don't really need magic though. The first enemy is really easy. It's just the Dynalphos. You can just like whack him or quick spin or whatever you like. Honestly, I always just like come up to him and whack him like that. The next one's a Goron Master. And what I do for him is I like to use hook shot for the first couple hits. Sorry, the very first hit is what I meant. You do like that, and then you jump slash him. Now once you get hit by him once, you can literally just walk up to him and jump slash again. And that's the end of him. You can get me my SG here, like that. If that's something you desire. And then hookshot that chest. Beautiful. And now here, I'm gonna play Song of Healing to this Gossip. You can start playing it immediately because it's a Gossip Stone. So I kind of slacked a little bit there. And then finally, Iron Knuckle. We do have a pretty solid strat for this guy. What you do is you crouch stab him and then immediately target him and side hop. and then you'll have enough time between his attacks to do free jump slashes, which takes off his armor. And then you just gotta be careful and keep crouch stabbing him. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. 2, 3, and notice that I didn't even have to jump slash cancel then. You can certainly jump slash cancel if you like. And then just do what I did there. I kind of just keep walking into him and crouch stabbing at the right time. For his like overhand attack, it can be a little tricky to time the crouch stab, but a little bit of practice, it's really not that hard. And then come to the one on the left hand side here and play Song of Healing once again. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, you can use Bunny Hood here if you like. You can not use it. Doesn't really matter. Once you are done with all that, it's Majora time. And here, just talk to the kid. And of course, if you did this in the run, he would give you Fierce Deity Mask. If your magic is low at all, just make sure you grab this one right here, below half for sure. Otherwise, you can just keep that as an extra if you do end up running out during the run, I guess. I always grab it no matter what, is what I'm saying. Now, first cycle Majora is quite straightforward. You're just going to walk forward, target her, beam her once, and then jump slash. That's going to trigger the remains to come out of the wall. Show that really quick. Easy. Just make sure you get her quickly. And I start backing up here. You just want to be as close to the center as possible for when incarnation happens. And in here, target her. You can let her rise up because it's kind of hard to hit her. And then beam her from far away. And that's it for the mask. Just make sure, like if she's really close to you, just make sure that that second hit is from the beam and not from the sword itself, because that would not kill Majora. Now, Incarnation's kind of a free-for-all, especially here in the beginning. You can try to kind of like do a quick spin or some kind of random slash or whatever you want, but really the actual strategy is to try to target her as soon as possible, and then you can just beam the crap out of her once you do. Like once she is stunned, what you do is you hold forward or you hold in the direction that she's in, and you're gonna do forward slashes, right? And if you just mash forward slashes, it's always a one cycle, so that's good. The other thing I wanted to talk about is dealing with the remains. So I don't tend to kill them, but you gotta remember that you do only have 4 hearts in this run, or I'm sorry, 3 hearts, and so you have to be careful with your health. So if they're right up in your grill, or if you're already low on health to begin with, it can be prudent to kill a few of them. Like I said, I only ever do so if I happen to target them and they're right in my face, right? Because then you might as well. Finally, for Wrath, I do a 2-cycle method that I think is absolutely free. So that's what I like to do. There are 1-cycle methods, but the most important thing here, hold up, walk forward a little, and then slash her. And that'll bait her. Just to explain that, walking forward immediately there, so holding up during the cutscene, baits her into doing 1 of 2 attacks, and both of those attacks make her not jump, right? Like they're attacks that she does in place, and so it's just like a free stun on her pretty much, as long as you can time the sword slash correctly. Because obviously doing it too late, you'll get hit. Doing it too early, she has kind of a weird invincibility thing. So there's a proper timing to it, but it's not that hard to figure out. Once you do that, the 2-cycle method is very simple. You jump slash and double beam her. She's gonna fly away, and then you do the same thing. So it looks like this. I didn't target her there, that was kind of weird looking. And this is pretty perfect. Boom, boom. Easy record. So I did mention that there are 1-cycle kills for Wrath. It's something I'm really bad at. What it requires is a very slow triple beam slash. And it's just also, it's kind of finicky. I do not like it at all. I have gotten it very few times in practice. So if that's something you're curious about, you want to save those hot 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I would definitely ask on the Discord about it. It's out there. And with that, that's the end of the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed listening to my voice for an inordinate amount of time. If you have any questions, like I said, best place to go, man. Discord. It's an incredible community. I love it. I always see things there every day. I learn things about this game every single day, and I wanna share more of those things, which is why I'm making these videos. So if you have any feedback for me, you can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on Discord. Those are probably the best 2 platforms. And yeah, that's it.